His aim is to settle within. As they explored the oasis, the party came across pieces of the violet stone, which piqued the interest of a number of our characters, but especially so of Rick. Rick's investigations led him to discover that the violet stone wants all of its pieces back. The group theorized that it may have some connection to the cursed ruin, and perhaps, and this, was more of a presented as more of a far-fetched theory, but perhaps this purplish material had some connection to this purplish eye that was given to Satho. As they prepared to rest, Hladak, already finding comfort in the main tent of Jirik. We'll jump ahead a little bit. We jump back to the party reunited. However that looks, whether that be at the tent, whether that be the scavenger tent, like we talked a lot about the scavenger tent, talked a lot at the, but Hladak is, of course, kind of passed out there. So as you kind of return to your quarters, the party was discussing their plans and their next course of action. We ended last with the group contemplating their next move and the mystery surrounding the Violet Stone and its potential connection to their quest. That is where we will return. Jumping back over to the valley of Zibi Ali Khalas. We find ourselves now no longer in the scavenger's tent at this point. Some time has passed as we're jumping a little bit ahead to the party reunited. Hladak, the rest of the group is now entering the luxurious quarters you've already kind of made yourself comfortable in. You see them each enter one by one with a sense of perplexion across their faces. But you are all here and you are all in private. The comfortable room is there in front of you, plenty of resting space, plenty of comfortable resting space for all of you.
So did we long rest then?
Not yet, but we were preparing to.
It's 6 p.m. at the moment.
Correct. You guys will be here until at least 8 a.m., 9 a.m. tomorrow for after the long rest. So you guys have a bit of time as you head into this private meeting room, or not meeting room, private sleeping quarters that you've all been provided. You catch everybody up on the situation, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask about specifics. But ask Rick, and then I'll answer if he doesn't know.
If you need me to lift, I lift. If it is liftable. I'm not trying to conserve calories or whatever.
Wow, he's so helpful.
I have my moments. And they're quite frequent. What about you, robot? How are you, like, built for lifting? I don't see any, like, on you per se, but
No. I'm pretty brittle, actually.
Hmm.
That's why we
more
work
wood
well
than
together.
metal. I
Yeah,
see.
but I've got
Maybe one
bugs.
day. If you like lift, like pick up heavy thing, put heavy thing back down, repeat, do you get bigger, like not robots, or are you just kind of locked in where you are?
Is there anything heavy in this room? Like anything?
Looking around, there is
Me.
a saw. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, we could try it. I could try to lift you.
I would be overjoyed.
Lovely. Me too. So then he's just gonna kind of walk over to him and just like awkwardly like wrap around him. Very poor form, just like bear hug him like as much as he can. I mean, he's
How
large,
much do you
so
weigh? Hold on.
We established this, I think, in the past. Hladok is he's big.
He's brawny.
Like as Dragonborn go, he's like on the very upper end. He's
brawniest
very
of
tall for a Dragonborn. He's very broad. He's not covered in like scales. Like he's covered in crystal, like in stone. Like my man is
Brawniest.
heavy. I'd say he's like at least 350 pounds, like minimum. He's probably
good to get
pushing
known?
400,
Alright.
and like not counting his armor and like the stuff he's carrying, you're like pushing 500 pounds of shit you'd have to lift.
500 pounds of lifting. Go ahead and make an athletics check here, Outer Queen. It's all about how you bend your knees, really. And you bend your knees very mechanically and well. As you lift up, you manage to get him up. And you, it's heavy. It's real heavy. You can't like lift him over your head or anything, but you can like bear hug, pick him up, and kind of get him off the ground. Unless you're resisting Hladok, which you could. But
No.
this is just a pure
No,
weight
he's
test.
like-
yeah.
He's like the woman on the Titanic movie. He's like, whoa.
Oh.
is this as thrilling for you as it is for me?
Yes,
Wonderful.
I have never been lifted in a friendly way.
It seems like
See
you're rather
Older Queen
more than
fucking
enough.
bursting a blood vessel if he had them. Like some tree sap, so it's like bursting out of cracks. Some screaming of bugs helping.
Okay.
As you lift
He's
him
gonna
up,
he's gonna
you
go
hear a
ahead and
crack, and you put him back.
just puts him down. And then after he puts him down, his arms kind of return to his sides. And after a few moments, they both just fall off. Oh! Oh no! Oh no! Oh wait, they grow back. We're good.
Nice, it's like one-offs. Hard. I said like a way to get rid of fatigue. Like I know if I lift things that are super heavy, I get like tired and my arms have to rest. But if they just fall off and you grow new ones, can you just do it again? Do you get tired?
No. I don't sleep.
Oh.
Shut off. Not quite the same thing though.
I envy you.
What are
Not
dreams
the
like?
sleeping thing. Sleep is great, but the not tired thing, fatigue sucks.
What are dreams like? I've never had one.
It depends. It is usually influenced by what is going on with you before you go to sleep.
I see, I see.
It can be craziness. It can be, earth-shatteringly realistic. I have woken up in a dream, into another dream, so to speak. So sometimes there are many layers, and sometimes it's crazy shit, like a dream of, being, I don't know, inverted, crazy stuff. Other times it is nothing, it is just black.
It's always black for me.
So it's like that, but with more pictures.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
Think of like you paint, so you see things in your head.
Right.
So think like that, but you see things that aren't real and never happened. Like you invent new pictures, and then they go one after another to make like a scene. And
So, like,
sometimes
you-
it is nonsensical, and sometimes it is overly sensical.
So if you dream of things that never happen, then you must dream of being weak and tiny.
More than you know. It is not uncommon to dream of insecurities. I often dream of not being enough.
Wow. I'm glad I don't dream.
It has its perks.
What do you guys dream about? He just turns to Rick and Sato.
No, I've heard it's quite like dreaming, but it's more of a similar, but I imagine there's less nonsensical. Depends on how whimsical the elf is. You know,
It also
I take
depends on
myself-
if they decide to sleep or not. Because elves can choose not to sleep, but they can sleep if they want to. And if they do, they might dream. It's a big
There's
might.
a rather radical sect of elves that do decide to sleep. Truly, I couldn't see the purpose. Seems like rather a waste of time. Would rather be using it to do something useful.
But you can experience, just like do a shit ton of drugs and you have a similar experience. I don't know if the robot can do drugs. Not that you should.
Rick, do you remember if the robot can process substances?
Can he get high? The answer is yes.
I expected nothing less.
I don't know why I expected otherwise. a robot designed by a dwarf that couldn't get drunk. Yeah, I feel like is a cardinal sin against your people.
How could
never
you
been
trust
drunk
it
before, though.
otherwise?
Okay, then you can experience a dream if you would like, Alderguin. Just do it. I could get my hands on this stuff.
Wow. I would love that.
You might. Or you might fucking hate it. But I will be sure to be a good Sherpa on your trip.
You're such a good friend. I'm glad that we met.
You know, I like that you say things that people are often afraid to say. You have no embarrassment or shame. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
There it is again. I would blush if I could.
Me too.
he's gonna like sit down and cool himself. I think he actually takes his water skin and like jumps it on his own head a little bit.
Robosexual.
As you're getting horny for the nuts and bolts that Aldergreen has around.
I want to get that nut.
Is there anything else you guys are doing for settling in for a long rest? The Oasis is there before you. If you want to do any like shopping, there are merchants. They have the supplies they have, but there are merchants. There are tradesmen, etc., etc. Anything you guys want to do before settling in for a long rest for the rest of the night?
Also, I love it, but this hat isn't really my style. Anyone really want a top hat?
Immediately to Sato.
It looks like another magic item for Sato.
There's like a theme building
It
here.
sort of goes with the whole ensemble. In fact, now I feel weird about having the amber
He
shield.
needs a new magic item. It's a walking cane, and that's the next magic item the group will get.
Or like a super dapper umbrella.
Oh, that could be a walking cane too. If only we had something like that. It's silently
mean like
suggesting that you guys should give every single thing you find to Satho. Do I have to say it explicitly? Give it to him
Why
now!
are any of you taking these?
These are for him, not you!
Well, one, this is a focus, because you don't have your fucking eyeball anymore, loser. it's a focus for arcane spells, like all of your classes.
Oh, just like this orb of shielding from the fireplace.
Yes, just like that one as well. But this one requires attunement, whatever that means.
What does that mean? But yes.
Rick's just
Feel
doing
like
hat
all
tricks
of
right
your
now.
clothes have to be attuned, like the coat, the hat, the umbrella, everything attuned.
You
Oh.
want me to play a tune?
This one doesn't need a attunement. You just gotta stick gold in it.
Oh,
Even better. I think it would look good on him. I would poke holes in it, but him.
Rick
He's
tries to
good.
let it slide off his head and like flip down his arm to hold it out to Satho. He fails.
Make a performance check.
Oh,
Make
we'll
that
see if he
scary
fails.
performance check.
Yeah.
Hey, oh no, it's flawless. And it like just lands in the hand elegantly, ready
Rolls
for
down
you.
the shoulder, pops it up in the air, catches it. It's perfectly
He
upside
just-
down.
it's like a 15-minute, 20-minute display of him playing with this hat.
Hold on,
He's
I
just
got
like,
more tricks.
it's just bouncing back
I'm
and
kinda
forth,
feeling
and by
myself
the
right
time-
now.
Yeah.
By the end of
Let me
it,
get his hat here.
you just
Whoa.
want the fucking hat. You
Somehow
want
the
it to be
hat's like
over.
spinning around it like a basketball.
He does like the Turkish ice cream man where he
Yeah.
keeps hitting the hat and then flips it back up his arm to the other one and holds it over.
No, you gotta want it.
Do you want it? And he keeps doing the whole time, just like just gauging
Globetrotter
your
music starts
reaction.
playing.
He's dribbling the hat somehow.
But then the
You-
hat is presented.
sort of feels
After a
like maybe
while.
you don't want to give it up. I don't need to give it to me.
No, I gotta find something in my style. I love hats. It's just not this one.
Well, how about this?
You need like a
I'll see
bandana.
if I could reshape it for you.
Oh,
I'll keep it for now.
that sounds like a deal.
More like a trilby.
I was curious, Aldegreen. Given that you don't sleep and given your form, I was just wondering if how much of your creators do you know?
How many of my creators do I know?
Yes, I was wondering if one of them might be a wood elf. You seem rather familiar in an unfamiliar way.
I don't know. Do I?
I can give you a copy of the actual item that had that list, but that the one you made is probably fine too, because it can make any mundane item. So
Nope, don't remember him.
I see.
the only one you vaguely remember is those brief flashes of Rick for some reason.
Papa. Maybe-
In any case, don't trouble yourself. I'm sure. No matter.
I would never trouble myself.
I'm glad.
I would comfort myself. I'm very self-assurant.
That's very good coping mechanisms. Seems Rick taught you great at many good things.
I don't
But,
cope. I thrive.
It's a little aggressive, but that's fair.
The eyes turn a slight red tinge when he says it, just so slightly when he says that.
Well, don't let me trouble you. When that is so young in the night, I might just walk around the market, see what the people have to offer.
I wonder if we could talk to Jirik and see if his seers have anything to say about the Purple Rock.
That's right. Someone did mention that.
I might go talk to him before bed. Are we by like other minotaurs,
You guys have a
or do
private
we just know
chamber
how
where-
long he's holding court, or if he does?
He is. You know, he's typically found within his chamber, so he'll be where you found him, most likely. You saw like a bed chambers behind the throne too, so like he probably
Ah,
sleeps there,
gotcha.
lives there, that kind of thing. You ever played New Vegas? You know Caesar's tent, where there's a throne and then like immediately behind it there's a fucking like bed chamber. Very similar setup, just minus the auto dock.
He works from home.
Yeah. Okay, so the sounds like the plan is everyone else that I don't mention. I assume you're just being chillin'. So, it sounds like we have a visit to the Minotaur's market planned, and we have a visit to the One Horn Kingdom self planned. Anything else we want to get planned? All right. Well, we're going to start with thing A. Setho, you're going to the market. Anyone going with you?
I'll go with him just to see what's around.
All right. Anyone else?
Doc is fucked up, so he's gonna stay in.
Where's Outerwing going?
He'll go with them then.
Got it. You find yourself to the Minotaur's market. You find a bustling hub of commerce. Stalls and shops selling all manner of goods and services. Located in a large open square, the market is a maze of twisting alleys and winding streets created by these various tent stalls. The Minotaurs themselves are imposing, of course, towering over most of you, but despite their imposing nature, they seem friendly and they're kind of like beckoning you over to look at their goods. As you kind of browse through this marketplace, you see the various goods on sale. It's a treasure trove of exotic and unusual items, from rare spices and herbs to relics and artifacts that are uncovered, only findable in the lowlands. Some of the unusual items on sale, you see a few stalls. You see a stall that sells potions made from the blood of dragons, said to grant the imbiber incredible strength and abilities. You see a stall that sells rare and exotic meats, including the flesh of the diamond-backed bullheads, which is, the merchants claim, very tasty. You see enchanted horns that can be used similarly to spell scrolls to create magical effects. Handcrafted jewelry and trinkets made from bones, teeth, and the other dangerous beasts of the lowlands, including what you would all recognize at this point as be parts of basilisks, chimeras. You see a number of musical instruments on display made from the bones of the, again, a lot of theme here, bones of these various creatures that the tribe has killed. The market is busy, and it is fascinating. It's certainly unique. Anything that piques your interest? Or anyone's interest?
I'll go visit the potion seller, see what they have to offer.
You wander over to the Minotaur there, and he nods at you, and he, like, starts to proposition himself about all of his various items that he has for sale. To make this easy, he has a number of potions for sale, including those potions that well, you would recognize the potion, by the way. These potions made from dragon's blood that increase strength. You would recognize this as what is more commonly called in Azora as a potion of fire giant strength. It is very, very, very expensive, but it is a potion that will increase your strength to order 25 for an hour. Very powerful potion. That's kind of what those potions are.
Gotcha.
But to give you a cost, they run at a cost. Okay, these are pretty expensive. These are 200 gold a piece, and there's only 3 of them.
Yeah, this is rather fine craftsmanship, but low on coin, I think, and I wouldn't want to steal your hard work here. But, the dragon's blood is sourced from the nearby. Oh, there's only one dragon nearby. Is this?
Oh yeah, dragon. That's how we get it. We got the blood from when it hunts. Sometimes it gets wounded and stuff, and we collect the blood and then we use it in our potions.
Ah, that's very resourceful. But here, I won't.
Powerful stuff, that dragon's blood.
You can see that. I'll keep an eye out for any if we come across. Yeah, I won't block your possible customers. And so I will slink away.
Yeah. Any other merchants we're interested in looking at?
Can Rick find any like jewelry that seems to be made out of the same purple rock? Is there jewelry around here?
Make an investigation check. As you browse through the various jewelry merchants and such, you do find one ring that looks like it is made mostly of bone of some creature, but its figure piece is this purplish stone. Not quite crystalline, but stone. It looks like the stones that you found within the oasis.
What's the owner like? And how is he? If Rick picks up this stone to look at it, does he react in any way in particular?
He looks at you and he's like, "Oh, you're looking for the whispering ring, yeah? Looking called to it, maybe?"
The ring whispers to you.
No. Whispers of those it seeks to be, or that it seems that it acknowledges as worthy. Heard many people talk about it. I just thought it was a pretty rock. Put it on a ring, but people come by. They say it whispers to them.
Any similarities between these people? Because he shakes it near his ear. I'm not hearing
They
anything.
look strong, they look brave, and they look like they're filled with purpose, just like you, Sir Dwarf.
What do they have to do? Put it on first, or he puts it right out of his ear?
Do you not hear it? Was
No.
I wrong about you? Are you not brave, strong, and with purpose?
Listen, I fit all those categories to a T.
Then
But,
get closer. Maybe try it on.
Rick will put the ring on.
Do you hear you feel a presence, but it only whispers one thing. You know the path.
Rick's just gonna take it off pretty quickly. Like, how much do you want for it?
Afraid it's not for sale. To someone who doesn't feel the whispers. I believe in its purpose now. If you do not feel it, and I don't believe you do, it feels wrong to sell it to you.
Listen, I messed with one of those rocks over there, and it talked to me. It sent me on a path that it wants done. It says it wants to collect its pieces, return them, be whole again. This is one of those pieces. Hey, you
claim
tell
it
me,
whispers to you.
how long have you had this ring?
Weeks now. Crafted it, but the right buyer hasn't come along yet. You think you're this buyer?
Rick's gonna just brush that aside for right now, and he's gonna be like, "You notice anything weird since you owned it? You had it for a couple of weeks. How do you keep it? How do you store it?"
That sounds like a question that a thief would ask.
I noticed the purple expanding on the grass over there. Seems like the stone is creeping outward. I'm wondering if you're noticing anything, or if you're smart enough to keep it contained. And I want to learn your secrets.
No. I gathered the stone from these places you talk about, which you might think devalues the ring, but it is not, because the craftsmanship, the work put into it is worth the value.
When you
So-
scoured it, you didn't hear anything?
No, of course not. I am not strong, brave, or particularly filled with a sense of purpose.
Hmm. So it only tries to manipulate the people with purpose. That's dangerous.
Or perhaps it knows that if it whispered to me, I would do nothing. I'm not going to help some silly rock. But I will sell it to those who want to. But the price I would pay, or I would charge, well, I only want to charge that price to those who truly want it. That price is steep.
You,
100 gold pieces.
how much?
100 gold pieces.
You saw me and mine walk up to your one-horned king, right? You don't see many of us walking through here. Or maybe you do.
I don't give a damn about his posterity. I'm here to make a living.
Well, I ain't got it.
He looks at you. What do you have? I'm a trader. I'm willing to trade.
Rick's looking at his depowered armor, his depowered shield, and he's like just touching his pockets. And I go, wait, I think I left my wallet back at the Zora.
Take your time, find your money, find your tradable goods, then come back to me. The ring will be here.
I could give him some bugs. I have a few to spare.
Rick actually wants to take out his I actually know Rick. How do these jewels look? Rick does have a jeweler's kit. Are they like well crafted or could they be improved? Like, are they well cut?
Make a jeweler's kit check.
Oh, it'll take him out. Actually, no. I think when we kind of respect, I gave it to him. But
You guys have so many hours. I doubt it'll
Yeah.
matter before your actual long rest.
if it's Dex, they're
looking-
16.
It'd be perception based, so wisdom based.
Okay, then 14.
14. Looking over the stone and the infrastructure itself, like you see, it is
Oh wait, sorry, no, 17.
17. And then instead, as you kind of examine closely towards the stone, looking very intricately with your kit at the stone, you see mostly rock, boring, mundane rock. In fact, there's nothing else to it besides that boring, mundane rock, besides a dusting of this purplish crystalline material. And you notice when you touch that material is when you feel the voice, the presence. You touch the rock, you don't feel anything.
Can Rick try to like just get that coating off it, or is it like embedded under a layer?
There are some that are embedded in the layer. You wouldn't be able to get all of it off, but you can swipe off a majority of it if you dusted it off with your thumb.
Yeah, I think he'll dust off with his thumb, and then I think he will just like quickly run his thumb on his tongue and just swallow real quick.
Make a Constitution saving throw. You feel something press in your mind. Not a presence, but a feeling. A euphoric feeling. A feeling of hallucination. Slight. You resist most of it, but you start to see visual coloration appear in your eyes. Slight blips and blops of color that weren't there before. The early onset signs of hallucination.
Yeah, unless the voice is more powerful or anything. If that's all he's getting, he'll be like, well, enjoy your rocks. I'll be back, maybe, if we need it.
Yeah, you clear away. Any other mercantile business or any other business? All right. In that case, Rick, you reconvene with Satho and Alderguin, I believe, is with you as well. All three of you kind of regroup. You're standing in the market. It's busy. Minotaur go about their business.
I think Rick will just be like, that jeweler said that the Rock is known to talk to people, but people that have ambition and purpose and the ability to get things done. The scout also heard it, so maybe I believe him. But
What an interesting rock.
the voice came back to me and said, I already know what has to be done. I don't think it's giving much more wisdom. It just wants to be made whole.
Fair enough. Then perhaps
Maybe
it,
we should. Go ahead.
Sure. Then it seems that it's made its choice, and perhaps a visit would help clarify exactly what it needs. As if jewelers are taking powder of this rock, I think it's a rather difficult task to reunite every piece.
Yeah. It'd be a tall ask.
I want to know if I have ambition, so I want to talk to the rock.
I hope you do. Well, you do.
Someone else wanted to do something. What was thing B?
Rick wanted to go talk to G-Rick.
Right. Cool. Never mind. We're good. Just making sure. So, sorry, I interrupted that scene.
Oh no, I think Rick will say kind of along the same lines, just his intention of being. I plan to go talk to G-Rick, give him the lowdown, see if his seers have anything. They got him this far. They know about this sanctum thing. Maybe they can help out, or if nothing else, if we do go the route of bringing this thing together, I'll need his approval to start taking apart pieces of his wall.
Excellent. I would also like to experience Jirik speaking to the seers. I'm feeling it's a lot more complex than imbibing of a certain liquid.
Maybe he does what I just did. Comes himself.
A combination, yes. Like dreaming.
Well, I'll go with you guys, because I don't like being alone.
And you all begin to wander towards the tent. Familiar tent at this point, as you head inside. You're welcomed. There, Jirik is sitting on his throne still, contemplating. He's just now getting done with addressing the concerns of one of his subjects. They leave, you're allowed in, and he looks at you. Sighing. Not with disappointment, but with just being tired. Seems like he's been dealing with a lot, and he... Welcome back.
Yeah. Thank you.
More to discuss, I trust.
Yeah. Sorry for coming back here before we completed our task, but I just wanted to know, have you noticed or talked to your seers about the spreading of the purple next to the stones you fortify your walls with?
I have not. This issue, it is solved by claiming the sanctum. So I have not put much thought into it.
You are one of great ambition, so just in case the jeweler is correct, have you heard the whispers of the rock?
I've heard of those who have heard the whispers, but I have not touched the rock myself.
When I went to check it, spoke to me and said it wanted to be made whole. I don't know if this thing is benevolent or not. I fear it is whatever caused the ruin of the village nearby. I don't know if you all are in danger of having these rocks fortify your walls. And I don't know if helping it become whole will stop its spread or help it spread faster, but it could be worth consideration. You're right.
Would you be willing to confirm these things for the sake of our tribe? In case it is a greater issue than I thought.
I'm willing to go and talk to the large portion, see if I can get more than just its decree. But your seers have led you to this point. They've led you to the sanctum. I'm wondering if you can contact them. Get any further clarification, wisdom.
I can. But I would warn you of the time frame. When I imbibe of the substance, when I call upon the seers, I can be unconscious from anywhere a few minutes to hours and sometimes even days.
We have already set the path ahead of us to take down this guardian and get into that sanctum. I don't know if we can have you out of commission for days after that. He kind
I
of
do not know either.
looks at Satho and Aldergren if they're there with him.
If there was a way to confirm that I wouldn't be unconscious for days, it would be a safer bet.
Mm.
But damn it. I need to talk to the seers because they can see the future, but I can't see the future. It's a sign of its own problem. Frustrating.
Is there anything that dictates how long you're gone? Is it the message? Is it the importance?
Sometimes I spend days with them learning their lessons, but it seems to be based on how much I have left to learn about the situation.
Hmm.
Once I understand, only then can I leave.
Yeah, I don't want you losing focus about our agreement. And we also don't want to push that back too far.
He nods.
And your
What would you
people also
suggest?
need you.
What is your counsel?
Well, we don't have a way to wake you up. Then I guess we should try to remove as many things you need to learn as possible. So maybe if we learn some insights from the rock itself, that will leave you freed. I'll leave
Wise.
less for them to impart on you.
Wise counsel. Then the path is clear, is it not?
How are the travels between here and there? You have your walls,
Not
I imagine, for
far.
a reason. Is it just the city and the enchanter you fear? Is there anything else we should be aware of?
The goblins, the enchanter. Those are most of the things my people fear. And the dragon. But it is not so brazen to attack us all at once. So that about surmises it.
Rick will just turn to the other two and be like, well, unless anyone's got any ideas, I guess we just talk to the rock in the morning. Go from there.
I want to talk to the rock.
I do too.
Is how far is the rock? Rock's not terribly far away, but perhaps it would be best if we all went together. And besides, if we gather some information and maybe if we help with the sanctum, be even easier given that should the walls be dismantled, they could then help us return the rocks. They'd be on the way. Sort of an on the way, a pit
Are
stop.
you saying this auditorily to the king? Can the king hear this? Or are you talking in a hushed whisper?
Oh, I don't know how far away we are from the king, but I don't know if Sathel's really trying to hide the fact that that would be convenient.
Then he looks at you. And he says, "You have proven yourself, friend, by saving Kedge and my scavengers. You have proven yourselves wise by offering counsel. With this decision, from my perspective, you must simply ask, do you have enough time? Do you have time to clear the sanctum and get us inside before you suspect we succumb to the same fate as the cursed ruin? Or do we not?"
That is a good question. Do we know the time frame on how quickly Zenerim fell?
Just real quick, someone make a history check, because I just don't remember what everyone else's history check was about this. 'Cause I know we made some about this, but just for that particular question.
Rick will roll because I think he rolled last time.
Rick, you know, it's been about 20, 30, maybe more years. You're not entirely certain, but like 30 or 40 years, you'd wager.
Been a while, 20, 30 years, and that's with him going to the source. He was doing a lot of experiments on the big thing itself.
But the fall of Zenerim was rather quick once he started to research.
You know this story. You know the research went on for some time, and then the experiment. There was an experiment. You don't know the specifics of the experiment. No one does. But there were tales of an experiment. That experiment went wrong. Whatever it was, that's what caused the curse.
Okay. The fall of Zenerim did have a catalyst. Some research that the enchanter was doing. But you're right. Risking your people for the sake of trying to do everything might be ill-advised. Perhaps we should see the stone, see if it has any insight on that.
Also, just gonna throw this out there. You guys know better than I do, but what about the enchanter? You think he could tell us what his experiment was?
He did seem quite friendly.
I thought he was friendly. You know, until he wasn't.
That's true.
Okay. Maybe not then. G-Rick, one thing I will say is a shopkeep in your market told me that the stone speaks to those that have ambition. I think if you personally stay away, if the jeweler is to be believed, maybe we can stave off some of this corruption. But you should keep your distance.
He nods. That is logical.
You seem like a
Greek.
good king to your people. I would hope that you stay that way.
I do too. But he looks at you Well then, Rick, what will you do?
A lot of us are pretty tapped. I guess we'll sleep on it tonight. When we'll tackle either the sanctum, get that out of the way, and then maybe you can, if we approach that first, maybe that'll leave you open to talking to the seers. Or if we go and talk to the rock, maybe that can lessen the time. Either way seems valuable to me.
I agree. Sleep on it, discuss with your team, and I will see you when you return.
In the morning then, and he'll tip a hat he doesn't have. Oh, fuck.
Nods and just totally like kind of like instinctively just mimicking you. He reaches towards his broken horn and then he stops and then reaches towards his other horn and kind of bows. To your chambers then. Do you need any food, water, refreshments sent your way?
You guys do any like wine, alcohol, anything
Yes.
cool, Minotaur? Oh, hell yeah. We gotta get this
Some of our
robot drunk.
strongest.
Oh no.
And he motions, and you see like these large minotaur wine bearers who are holding these large what's that Greek word? The big pot that holds wine.
Amphora?
Yep, it's a big amphora. That's it. Big brain on K. A big amphora on each shoulder. The large, long ones that are like as tall as a person, but to the minotaur, it's not quite that big. And he holds it on the hold it on the shoulders. They bring it over, and there's a series of them. Each of them smell differently. One sweet, one bitter, one sour, and one strong. Just it smells like pure alcohol.
Rick's like bouncing a little bit, but he's like, we gotta get Holoduck.
We can bring these to your private quarters.
Appreciate
Sounds
it.
And
great
he
to me.
motions, and they all start to wander off. Well, Doc, you're just you're in the room chilling, and like suddenly, like out of nowhere, like 4 minotaur holding these big amphoras come in, just place them
Oh.
down on the ground,
Make
They don't
yourselves at
acknowledge
home,
you.
I guess.
and they leave. They put those down on the ground. They don't look at you. They don't acknowledge you, and they leave and they go
Excuse
back.
me, I didn't order any of the. Oh, okay.
A few moments later, the rest of your party enter.
Hey guys, the craziest thing just happened. A bunch of minotaurs brought in a lot of booze and then left.
Yeah. They're gonna get me drunk. I
Ri-
think.
Rick's like standing up next to one and like slowly leaning it into his mouth. He's like, come here.
Which one? The sweet one, the strong one, the sour one, or the bitter one?
You know what? He's gonna go bitter first.
Just to kind of, those are the 4. Bitter first. You taste it. It has the taste of a very hoppy flavor, very, very, very much a beer or very much a ale. It's tasty. It's got a lot of groundy, earthy flavors to it, and it's strong. Not as strong as you had when you were a baby, but that's dwarven culture for you.
I'm just making it easier to pour.
Mhm. Anyone else interested in imbibing?
Drinking is a social venture. Drinking alone is sad. I will drink with you. But it is for your sake, not for me.
I'm a social drinker. Glug, 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 glug. It's because you're drinking. Glug, glug. Just like keep going.
I do this for you.
And yeah,
Which
he's
one
gonna,
does he go
he's
for?
gonna sniff each of them, and he's gonna go for like the fuck me up
The
one. He's
strong.
going for the power one because he's a big guy. I feel like Holoduck has went through this like over the years of like, oh man, this is the good stuff, and he drinks it, and it's just like this does nothing. Like he needs some real sauce.
This is like 200 proof Everclear. It's just
yeah, my man.
strong, burning. It's like drinking Germex. It hurts. but it is powerful. It's stronger than the swill that they serve at most of the taverns, even the Dark Light Zone. The Dark Light Zone gets stuff like this, but it's kind of like, you know this too, Satho. This kind of alcohol is considered illegal because it can cause you to go blind because it is just too potent. It is it's a dangerous concoction. But for Minotaur, for bulls, meh. For dwarves, meh. For Dragonborn, meh. Dragonborn don't have a huge culture in themselves, so having a drinking culture. But they are hardy, constitutional. And you drink it. But I want you to make it a constitution saving throw. This one's particularly strong. How much are you drinking, by the way? That'll determine the DC of your check there, Ladok.
I don't think he's just like multiple gulps, but like a big one, like a mouthful, one big thing. You know, probably like a normal person's like mug is probably what
Yeah.
it takes to get like a good solid.
I do
drink
feel
in.
like this is roughly the size of Ladok's snout. Like this is like
yeah.
went
He
along,
just kicks
so
that whole thing in like one
Just a-
gulp because
yeah.
he can.
absolutely. So make that Constitution saving throw as you. I mean, really for you, it's just one big bite and then swoosh back,
Yeah.
and you swallow it. Ooh, it burns, it tingles, it's good. Not a lot of flavor, but a lot of strength. And you feel that sensation overwhelm your body, that warmth. It just burns through your chest and spreads all around. You feel comfortable.
It tastes like it works.
Elder Green, you try some of this, you're gonna dream for sure.
Oh. Okay, which one should I try?
Probably start with the sweet one. You know, try to. I mean, the bitter one is probably gonna be like your kind of baseline. You should probably get used to it, but
As he's explaining all this, he starts kind of walking over to the super strong one.
oh god, yeah,
Well,
that's
if the goal is to get drunk, I'm all about efficiency.
it's very efficient. Yeah,
Righto.
and you
then
know,
he's
we
gonna
can make you
kinda-
new eyes.
This
gonna
vacuuming
kinda-
sound as your mouth opens, just as you just suck in.
Yeah.
How much you trying
Yeah,
to
and-
drink? As much as Ladok or more?
Oh, a lot more, because he doesn't
A
know.
lot more. You
He
got it.
doesn't know.
Well, maybe you slow down a little. Okay.
Just
Damn.
like Ladok, you see it and you're like, that's pretty badass. Especially they're tasting it and it's a vacuum.
I'm in.
Go ahead and make that Constitution saving throw.
Oh, you said Constitution.
Correct. Oh! You let out a loud belch that ignites in flame and but you stomach it. You down it. It is swallowed. And you do begin to feel intoxicated. It takes the edge off. Your artificial intoxication pieces begin to kick into place because you can't act. If you weren't designed to be able to be intoxicated, you wouldn't be able to be intoxicated. But because you were designed by Rick, you were designed to be able to be intoxicated. So you do feel a little bit of a buzz come on. You're not drunk. You're not like poisoned, but you are at ease.
Oh. I feel. I don't know what I'm feeling, but I feel it. I can feel every single bug inside of me all at once.
I'm
A
glad you're not
terrifying thought for
ticklish.
most.
Is that good?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Especially for Ladok. Holy shit, that's like that's like a little bit of a triggering moment there. It's like, what?
It's like having 1,000 children and loving them all simultaneously, and they all have gotten older and moved out and gone on to their own thing, but you are still physically connected to all of them at the same time.
You feel
That's
like
how
dad?
it feels.
Rick's gonna go drink some.
How much you drinking more than he did?
Yeah, he saw two people drink a lot, and he's like, it didn't affect him. He's like, okay, there's gotta be Minotaurs. Apparently, ain't got it.
Constitution saving throw. Advantage. You're a dwarf.
I almost wanted him to willingly. Oh,
Holy shit,
nice.
Matt. You just, I don't know what happened to my perception, by the way. Like, I saw you sitting in your chair, and then I saw you approach. I don't know if I'm like drunk or whatever. Maybe I'm drunk, but like, I was looking off in the direction. And I was like, who's that approaching? But it was
I had to
Matt,
go.
and I looked at the chair, and I was like, he's not in the chair. It was crazy. You vomit, Rick. The first time, maybe one of the first times in your life, you glug, glug, glug. You can't keep it down as it's burning in your chest. Maybe it's the combination of this and the other alcohol. Who knows? But just a little bit of vomit. But for a dwarf, that's why they have their beards. Most of it catches. And you
He's
can
like holding it. He's like
re-slurp
reaching
it
for
up
the hat.
so no one knows.
He's like, give me that. Give me, I need it.
Sather will take the cup out of his mess kit and scoop up some of the sweet liquid and be like, "Here, wash your mouth out with this."
Oh, good. Wash more beer.
Yeah,
I'm
that's like
saying this is
water.
weird.
It's for you. That's like washing out with water. Ooh, that's better.
Oh, okay. That one's good.
I'll
The
stick
drink.
with the sour.
Yeah, you could drink the sour. Sours, you know, unless you're drinking a large amount of it, you're not gonna have to risk too much. But if you want to drink enough to just get a buzz going or get strong, those are all options.
Sather goes slow with his cup and sips as he watches everyone guzzle down the fucking absolute gut destroyer.
Now you do. And the night kind of carries on a little bit peacefully. Drinks are exchanged, perhaps talks are had. But ultimately, as the night progresses and you engage in revelry, engage in happy times, and engage in all of these wondrous things that only come from revelry, the conversation shifts a little bit as the hour grows late. The conversation shifts to the events of tomorrow, as they so often do. Where are we going tomorrow?
Yeah, I figure while we're fresh, we can do this thing, clear out the sanctum, leave the One-Horned King the ability to talk to his seers. We talk to this rock, get a lowdown on what's going on there. But we did make a promise. I didn't make a promise to the rock yet.
So Sanctum first, Rock second.
Probably apt.
That works for me.
Any disagreements? Then, in that case, let's take just a brief 15-minute break here. Get back at 8:30. This will be our break for the. This will count as our halftime break. We'll get back here at in about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll jump forward to the next morning, where we will begin our trek towards the Sanctum, towards the Guardian, in hopes of defeating him to allow access to the path ahead for the promise that was made. But it seems after the Guardian has been felled, our plan is to then head to the stone. Just to kind of give you some awareness, because I want everyone to be on the same page. That means, from where we are on this map, you're going to travel all the way down this road until the end, which is far away. Then you're going to come back and talk to the stone. There will be backtracking involved, so I just want everyone to be aware of that. If this is the plan. That being said, see you in 50 minutes, 8:30. See y'all then.
See you then.
to grow later. The hour gets darker and the night presses on, but you feel safe, you feel comfortable, you feel fortified within these strong walls surrounded by strong Minotaur. Even in the zone of prey, one of the most dangerous places in Ethos, you feel a sense of relative safety. Maybe even more safe than you felt within the tower, the expedition tower. You have this moment of comfort, you have this moment together, you have this moment of rest, downtime, even.
Yeah, right before heading to bed for the night, I think Rick's gonna go to Satho and just be like, you know, I said we should go do the Guardian thing first, but I just want to check with you. You, like, ready for that? I gotta admit, I'm pretty concerned. I feel like we've been going by on the skin of our teeth. I feel like Elder Queen got a little fucked up in that cave. Holduck died. Like, just a day ago, he's got knocked down a couple times, and now you and I are at the weakest we've been. I'm, just a little concerned that we were going into this half-cocked.
Admittedly, I do have some concerns, but what way is there other than forward? If we wait any longer, Jerick and his people will be either overtaken by whatever this rock is, or crushed by feuding goblins and undead. Do we have the time?
The only thing I fear is that, I mean, we apparently have 2 weeks. I don't know how long after we do this sanctum thing it's going to be, but I thought we had a plan going into the acid beast, and it blew up in my face. I just, I think I've been playing fast and loose, and I think it's been hurting you guys more than it's been hurting me.
I wouldn't say that what happened at the Acid Beast was only because of you. We make our decisions as a team, and everyone was in agreement, but yes, perhaps this time we could take more time to plan out our approach. Think of how we might want to go in, and this time maybe think of how we want to get out. I think we really had the going in part down pat on the Acid Beast, but the coming out part. So a more on the fly plan.
And you don't think you're gonna need the powers of your eye for that? You think you're gonna be okay with what we cooked up?
Admittedly, I haven't done much without my eye. I haven't done much without Lalela in a long time, and I can feel how different it is. If I could recreate that bond, I would, but I can't. My powers of creation are rather limited to what I've been taught.
You didn't take any samples of the stone, did you, Rick?
That's what he was attempting to do when he first hit it, but then he got the mind thing. I think he stopped after that.
Gotcha. Keep going.
Yeah, if you're sure, I'm sure. The group, the woman you described, she seems wise, and I'm sure she had a plan going into hell, and that backfired. And at this point, it feels like all my plans have backfired. And it feels like there's a lot more on the line than there was before. I just want to make sure you're right. You're a person. We can all make our own decisions. you're confident, even in this state, than I am, but I've lost a lot of the power I once had. And I try not to outwardly show it, but I don't think I'm as capable of protecting others as I was. And even when I thought I was capable, people died. So, as it stands now, I assume there's going to be even more lives lost.
Then why don't we take some time to plan? If you think that a lack of a plan, and I agree with you, having no plan is, or perhaps we might say, failing to plan is planning to fail. An old elven saying.
That's pretty good.
And plan with me.
I love that saying.
Dwarves have something similar. Drinking to fail is failing to drink.
It'd be quite a big failure.
All right, well, let's sleep on it, get a good night's rest. We'll all be as powered up as we are in the morning and make a plan with a clear conscience, clear head.
And
While you're-
you... Oh, go ahead.
Before you go to bed, when you started learning Artifice, what was your first lesson?
The first thing I was taught was...
Rick,
Oh.
as you start to think back to that moment, you know it so well, but it's blank. You could have answered this question in your sleep before. Now you're drawing a blank.
Yeah, I think he's going to take out one of the trinkets he used to, or like something, because he used to turn things into his little mechanical creation. So he's going to just take a rock or something, anything he can find. And he's going to focus really hard on it. And you'll see him struggling. The veins are starting to pop from his forehead, and nothing's going to happen to it. He's going to be like, I don't know anymore. I can't remember a thing.
Ah. I didn't mean to trouble you.
No, it's okay.
It's okay, but it does trouble you.
It is good to get that information out there, especially we're going into battle.
I see. Well, everyone starts somewhere. Seems that. Admittedly, I've forgotten a number of things I've learned in my life too. I used to be quite proficient as a weaver, and nowadays I can't seem to loop two pieces of yarn together. Oh, but please, rest. I have some thinking to do, some planning to do, you might say.
All right, I'll catch some Z's.
As you begin to settle in, is there a final last call? Any last things we're doing before we wake up tomorrow? Finalize, it sounds like, because it sounds like we got some stuff to think about, or we've had some stuff to think about throughout our night. Before we finalize our plans in the morning, is there anything anyone else wants to do tonight?
Could we, and maybe I'm rereading the learning new proficiencies thing wrong. Could I have spent 2 gold pieces on like yarn or whatever Minotaur weave with at the market?
You could have spent 2 gold on that for sure, but you mentioned the retraining thing. What's your aim here?
I just want to use the learning new proficiencies thing to actually be proficient in Weaver's tools as like a precursor to what I want to do with my lost level.
I see. Let me just pop that open. Admittedly, I'm not as familiar with these as I should be, but the more we use it, the more I will be. Let's see. So you're trying to train a new proficiency. You can spend 4 hours, and then at the end of practice, you can roll a d20. This is your training check. On the result of a 1, you have successfully made progress on training your new proficiency. Right. I remember how this works. Okay. So, if you're not proficient at all, you are still at the D20. And tool. What's the default for Weavers? Probably dexterity, huh?
Yep.
Make a dexterity-based tool check with a D20 specifically. I think I understand this right.
I think
And
I get to
that'll-
start with a lower die because I have a +2, +3 to dex.
What die do you start on then?
D8.
Then start. Oh, that is true. That is true. I believe my +3. So yes, D8. Very cool. I like that a lot, actually. I like that a lot. That's really comprehensive. Where it's like the better you are at dexterity, the quicker you learn this because you have the prerequisite abilities. I like that. Cool.
So I spend some time with my
Boy, I
materials.
don't know what that means.
I don't think I advance, so I needed to roll a 1.
That's correct.
So I spent some time just reacquainting myself with Weaver's tools and thinking about how I might be able to use this as more than just for mundane crafts and blankets.
Yeah. And as you think of mundane, where your study goes astray, you start kicking yourself. Linen? Mundane? No fucking way. And you get distracted on that tangent for such a long time that you forget where you were with your actual thinking. But you're on the path. So, anything else anyone's doing in the night? That's probably most of your night just spent weaving, trying to learn more. Anyone else doing anything? Crafting, weaving, anyone who has no sleep or less sleep has potential hours to spend here. Do you have anything you want to spend towards?
I'm good.
Cool. Hadak, anything you want to do in the night?
No, I think he after drinking the fucking butane, he just kept kind of slamming it until he went to his stupor. Completely socially, of course. I feel like he tried to outdrink the robot as a matter of pride. And while he does well, I'm strictly going off the past con saves. He can handle his drink, but a robot has ways. And he basically doesn't remember passing out, but he did.
You tried to match those ways, by the way, because as you saw, like Aldergreen glugging and then spitting out fire, you were like, "Oh, I understand." And you spit out lasers into the sky to try to like break the alcohol up. It didn't work the same way for some reason, and then you ended up passing out. And that will bring us to the next morning. Hours pass. You all gain a long rest. You awaken. Break of day. The sun peeks through the tent, shines into your eyes, and those of you that were drunk feel a little hungover. But you're ultimately awake. Conscious. Rick, you look over to see the others starting to stir, and the conversation that you had last night still weighs on your mind.
And
Now is the time to plan. Yeah, what's up?
just checking real quick. Did the Minotaurs give us food along with drink?
They would have fed you, yeah. No need to use your rations. They sent you food. They sent you water. No cost either. They were very accommodating.
Cool. Yeah, I guess after everyone's morning prep, I'm sure they have a gathering, kind of like everyone's gonna get settled and gather around the seated area and wherever we're staying.
Yeah, there's like a little meeting table that you guys call gather around.
So about this guardian, we don't really know what we're gonna face. It's a little concerning. Satho and I have lost some of our abilities ever since the incident with the acid beast, and we thought we had a plan there, and didn't really work out. This rock might be able to restore some of Satho's power. It's the assumption. It seems similar to the eye he had, or we can risk it with the way we are now, but we're probably in our most depowered state, and we've struggled even with full power.
I feel pretty great. But I always feel great, so.
By design.
So
I
are we
feel as
suggesting?
good as could be expected.
I expect you to be great, so. You must be great then.
Then great I shall be.
Well, great. Sounds like we're all ready for whatever's ahead.
Right, what is the plan, by the way? We're going to the rock, yeah? I'm moving stuff.
Is there a way out of this place besides around the? Is this the only entrance and exit?
Yeah, you would have to go through that main gate.
Oh, okay.
Unless you scale the wall somehow.
As we're getting on the road, we could pass by the rock. Maybe grab a sample for shove it in Satha's eye real quick. I'll get a rough shot going.
Shove it a little bit carefully, but
Not
it is on the
really.
way.
I think that makes more sense. Stop at the rock first and then go from there.
Okay. Everyone agree with that sentiment?
Sure.
Okay. Any preparations you're making before you hit the road? All right. Think about it for one more moment.
I think Rick will go up to one of these rocks and just pick it again, just to make sure his pickaxe can like dig into it if need be.
It can, and it
Okay.
does.
He'll take a shard with him too.
You
If it
do.
picks
And
up
you
shard.
touch. Do you touch it with a ungloved hand? I should say.
Yeah, I'll take off his glove.
Making skin contact with it as you did before. You feel no words, but that feeling once more. That feeling of the presence.
And he'll just try to
There.
mind back to it like we're on our way.
Good. Good. That is all you hear. But our journey begins. As the group sets out on their journey, they find themselves walking a narrow path. I actually should probably measure this ahead of time. Boop, boop, boop. More or less a 15-mile journey. You guys going at what kind of pace? Normal, slow, or fast?
I assume normal.
Yeah, I assume normal. But before we leave, Rick will
5
be like to
hours.
the group, hey, any of you guys got a way of getting something up that's real high? Because like I do want that instrument, and it's on a statue. Should we buy a ladder or something?
I believe this hat could make one.
Oh shit! All right, never mind. It's a cat.
Otherwise, I could climb. I'm pretty good at it.
And also, depending on how heavy it is, I could just summon a hand.
Oh, awesome. Okay, great. We don't need that stupid ladder.
So, the group sets off on their journey. You find yourselves walking a narrow path that hugs the fortified walls of the oasis and the abandoned ruins of Zinarim. It's about a 5-hour journey as you make your way forward. Right here, the air is dry and dusty, with occasional gusts of wind kicking up sand and debris to your eyes. You walk, and as you walk, you notice a few small pockets of undead Leonin lurking around the buildings on the outskirts of Zinarim. The creature's eyes glow an eerie green in the darkness, and they growl and snarl, but they are far enough away that they don't seem to be an immediate threat. You see the walls of the oasis rising high into the air. They protect their inhabitants for now. They get smaller as you move away.
Quick question. On the ground, does the purple on the ground here seem to be almost like reaching for where the stones were in the wall, or does it seem like it's kind of their own little
Yes.
borders? Yeah.
They are stretching out to those points.
Trying to connect and build a bigger one. Yeah.
As the party wanders through what I will describe as a dense crystalline underbrush, you come across a strange sight. A massive elk-like creature, twice the size of an elephant, is trapped in a tangle of crystalline plants that seem to be consuming it alive. Plants sparkle in the sunlight, casting a rainbow of colors across the forest floor. The creature thrashes weakly and it groans in pain, its body covered in deep gashes and burns where the plants have taken hold. Its eyes are wild, looking around for any solution, fear and pain. And the party can see that it is near death.
I'm generally not one to interfere with nature, but it seems rather miserable.
Can I tell? Sorry, did you say how it's injured, or does
Yes,
it just look kind of beat the fuck up?
The creature is covered in deep gashes and burns where the plants are taking hold. It seems like the energy that is coursing through these plants is just burning its way through the creature, dissolving it, consuming it. Hard to say, but it is absorbing it. And it is in pain.
Do these wounds look like the type that could heal, or like the type where this animal is probably maimed
They
for the
could
rest
heal.
of its life?
With magical healing especially, but it won't matter if they're not freed from the vines.
Could I roll a nature check to know if these plants are like natural organisms?
Yeah, make an H check. No, you don't know.
I'm a druid and I don't know anything about plants.
Rick, you said
They
that
definitely aren't anything you've seen before.
mentioned that the rock had spoken with you.
Yeah.
Does-
And at the sight of this elk, I think Rick does like put it in like a beaker and like shut the rock off from him. He's like, nope. Yeah, he seems to talk. Specifically if you touch him with directly on the skin.
But it's important to say, Outerwing, you guys are a bit far away. Approaching it closer would give a clearer picture because it's like off in the distance right now. You hear it, you see it, but it's off in the distance. You're not like closely examining these vines for intricate details.
We have to help it. It's only right.
Maybe more of a mercy to help, to interfere.
A mercy killing, you say?
No, 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 no. You can't kill it.
It
Look
would
at
be
it.
better than this.
It's majestic.
Rick's looking at it like in pain and he's like, yeah, it's something. And he's like taking out his hand axe, he's just throwing it up in the air, like flipping it.
I don't know if majestic is the word.
Well, I'm gonna find out. And then he's gonna kind of just head off closer to the creature.
As you approach,
Look
You
out for
realize-
vines.
well, you don't realize, you know this already. These crystalline plants are like nothing you've ever seen before. They're partially made of pure energy, crackling pulsing. The creature looks at you, pleading eyes, clearly begging for help. But as you get closer, you can hear a strange whispering sound come from the crystalline plants, like the voice of 100 ghosts. Can't make it out, but you feel they beckon you closer, to listen closer.
So I think he's gonna be focused on the creature, the animal. Because ritual casting for speak with animals, he's gonna try to kind of communicate with it, get some information, see what it is, how it got here, like what's going on.
How long does that last? It doesn't say
10
when
minutes.
you posted it. Weird. Oh, weird. Cool. 10 minutes. As you cast that, you start to talk to it. It looks at you. Help me. Hurts. Please. Do anything. I just want to live.
How did you get stuck here?
I was wandering, looking for food. I wandered too close to this plant. It looked tasty. And it grabbed me. Never met a plant like this.
You said the plants are like made partially of energy, so they're
They have,
probably like
plant-like material and then like almost like veins of this crackling purple energy that's kind of exuding from them.
would I know if they were like magical then?
Make a nature check. You don't know the, based on your previous check, you don't know the specific nature of these things, but this is not natural. This is not a plant that grows. This is a plant that has been corrupted by something. Intentionally or unintentionally, that remains to be seen, but that is what you gather.
And it's purple like the rock, or the same like
Correct.
hue like the okay. I think he's gonna turn back to the group and beckon and call for Rick.
He wanders over.
Stubby legs.
I know we might be pressed for time on helping the creature, but I can't help but wonder. These plants, they seem unnatural, they seem corrupted by something, and the hue they're emitting matches the color of the stones, yes?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. I think he is taking out the beaker and he's taking off one of his gloves too. I was gonna, I don't know, I can check to see what this might be all about. Ask it. But it seems just like it's feeding.
Well, any suggestions on how we free him?
Break the crystals. And he like covers the crystal up in like the beaker before he goes to go. He's like, oh, don't let it hear. Probably break all of them. If you want to keep it alive.
I do. And then, kind of without hesitation at that point, he's gonna get his shroom stick ready and try to attack one of the like structures that the plant is attached to.
Okay, make an attack roll.
And I say that I shillelagh first.
Yeah, absolutely. Go and roll damage. With 8 points of damage, you see the vines recoil and pull away, and they tighten their grasp, but they get smaller and recede more into the ground as you slam them, and they look like they're just about willing to let go, but not quite. They dig deeper, lashing out, almost to spite you. Digging deeper into the creature, it groans. It cries out in pain. You see as the vines dig into it, start to go deeper, drilling towards internal organs, almost as a deterrent from what you're doing. Uncharacteristic of a plant.
Mm. I'm not really sure what else to do. I'm afraid if I attack again, it's just going to make it worse.
Yeah. Let me try some. And he'll take his glove off. He'll grab the rock and be like, "What are you doing with the elk?"
Not I. Those that have felt my touch, they change.
He said the plants are reacting to you. They're feeding because of your touch.
And I cannot stop touching them unless I am whole.
Well, I got good news and bad news, Elder Queen. It says it can stop when it's made whole. But these plants are acting of the corruption itself. So they're not attached to the rock. I don't really know how to communicate with these plants. Besides just trying to wipe them all out at once, which if you want to do a full tactical strike, maybe we can all attack in different angles, keep it safe. But these plants are of their own mind, so they're going to keep digging into this creature as long as they're touching it.
Well, I vote that we still need to save it. These plants are unnatural. They're upsetting the balance.
Maybe if we try to break off as many at once, maybe we'll have a shot.
I'm not sure what else to try.
And
Multi-strike attack? Like
he'll
multiple
wave
gonna...
the other two over.
Ladok and Satho, you see Rick kind of like, hey, over here.
Jumping a little bit.
I don't know if you see me. I know how the horizon works, and I'm
I see
short.
you. You're
so
not
like...
that small. You're short in stature, but large in presence.
I try.
And,
Thank you.
You have a broadness to you.
This
Very
guy gets
brawny.
it. I knew there was something about you when we locked eyes.
I crashed. I got really fucked up. It hurt, but I knew.
All right, so what are we going to do? Or are we going to put this thing out of its misery? Because this is painful to watch. I watched you casting that thing for like 11 minutes. I don't want to watch it more.
Elder Queen attacked it, and the remaining vines dug deeper.
Mm-hmm.
I figure the only way we're going to get it out is if we get it all out at once, which might take all of us.
Hmm. Or I can You know, I can do my laser beam show thing, and I could just designate a creature to be safe, and it will burn away everything around.
Oh shit, that's sick. I haven't taught the boy about death yet, so I didn't really want to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot of magic, but if this is what you want to do, I can do it.
Your call, Elder Queen.
I can clear away everything in about a 35-foot diameter. Assuming I stand atop the beast.
I don't think he deserves to die.
Good enough for me.
Yeah, Ladok's gonna start approaching the thing. As he gets like closer to it, do these vines seem to be reacting to Ladok at all?
As you get closer, you see they do seem to react to your presence by deepening their vines and just kind of like constricting in a very defensive manner. And you see the creature just looks at you, its eyes tearing up a little bit, pleading and just hoping. What do you do?
I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians, my crazy laser light show. Not do. And I'm going to designate us and the creature as to be unaffected by it. This will deal radiant damage.
So this large elk, which it really is just a big elk. It's like it's twice the size of an elephant, but it is an elk more or less. It's not a giant elk. If you put something more, even bigger, it's
huge elk.
Huge elk. And as
Gargantua elk.
as it is in its massive form, these vines wrap around it. You climb on top of it, and it's like standing on top of a hill. It's a huge height advantage. You summon the energy forth. These plants can't really make dex saves. They don't really have anywhere to go. They wisdom saves. They can make wisdom saves, but not very well, so we'll see.
I can stand here for 10 minutes while this thing burns away, so.
Well,
and it's half
roll...
on success as well.
Oh, yeah, roll half on success. Just roll damage, then.
Just once.
Just once for now, because I think that's probably going to be enough.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's a big roll.
That's a big roll.
You start to, all at once, melt all of the vines, and they start to disintegrate and burn away under your light, or your twilight. And the creature, injured, wounded, begins to shift. Its eyes turn from this fear, from this desperation to gratitude. It looks at you, Ladok, standing atop it. It just gives you a big old lick.
Oh, don't give me that look. I haven't earned it yet.
Another.
Okay,
And
now
it just keeps licking you.
weird.
And then it
This
tries
is
to
gonna be able
shift.
to stand.
Yeah, it tries to shift and stand, but it's like its legs are wobbling and it's weak.
Then Ladok is going to maintain the Spirit Guardians, and I'm going to try to. I think I had. I don't. I thought I had rope. Fuck it. Ladaka is gonna like just grab onto this thing, like grab it by the scruff or whatever. It's big as fuck. So just get like a grip on it and just start fucking dragging it across the ground and dragging it away from where these vines are over to where the group is.
Elder Queen, you can fix this thing. I know you can. It is directing its gratitude at me, but you're deserving, so.
Right.
Yeah, Ladok just drags this monstrosity over.
Pulling it over. You
I can move
Outer Ring, you
huge
see it.
creatures.
Yeah. But, yeah, you have time for sure. Absolutely.
Just because
So
I have the brawny feet, I'm like capable to move a huge sized creature. Otherwise, you
elephants are large, right? Or are they huge?
can't. Yeah, elephants are large.
Okay, then yeah, it would probably be a huge creature. Yeah.
Aldergreen's gonna walk up to it as he brings it over, hold both of his hands out.
Just kidding. Elephants are huge.
This would probably be gargantuan. But for like the sake of like actually pulling it across, it's like enough
Sure.
time, you can get it over.
So he's gonna hold both hands out, and kind of that spore-like energy that he has, along with some of his bugs and everything, are gonna kind of crawl off of his hand onto the creature, and they're gonna be engulfed in that kind of energy as they go to like each wound that it has and begin to kind of weave it back together.
Yeah, go ahead and roll the healing amount. Ooh, you cure it. It gets stronger. It's able to stand on its own, but the wounds aren't fully closed. It looks at you. It looks at you with gratitude, gives you a single lick, and it looks off to the distance. It looks ready to wander on away from the crystalline brush.
Eh, If it got captured in the state before, it will get captured again as it is now. It needs more.
Right. All right, so he's gonna kind of, before the creature gets ready to wander off, he's gonna kind of just, again, more insects, same kind of deal.
Throw another healing.
It is being dumb. Hold on a second.
With that, the majority of the wounds are begin to close and seal, enough so that it stands strong, it looks alert, and then it begins to gracefully hop off. And as it like lands, as it does like this like deer run where it hits the first two legs on the ground shakes less than you'd expect from a creature this size, but still does shake a little bit. It is that big, and it sprints off away from the crystalline brush. You see it clear the distance of any of these terrifying plants, and it lives thanks to your efforts. But the violet stone is still ahead of you. You ready to press forward? That you do. A few hours pass over this whole journey, and you arrive. You gaze upon the violet stone. And as you do, it's hard not to feel a sense of otherworldly fascination. For this stone is unlike any meteorite you've ever seen before. Large crystals are floating in between two larger sections of stone that seem to defy gravity. Each crystal seems to emit a soft glow, casting an eerie purple light across the surrounding area. The tethers holding the floating sections of the stone and the crystals appear almost like delicate strands of spider silk. They seem to be strong enough to keep the stone and the crystals together, intact. You sense a strange energy emanating from this stone, a pulsation, powerful force. Drawing you closer.
Whatever this thing is, it definitely doesn't belong here.
How long did Satho have his eye?
Satho?
I gave Satho an age, and Satho was with Onus Krur for definitely over a century. Maybe just over a century.
Does he feel any sort of way? Like his eye
You look
socket
at
or
it.
anything?
It looks a lot like the color material that the eye was made from, but the only way that could possibly be true is if wherever this stone ended up coming from, presumably the Dark Tapestry, Lirleia somehow found a way to it.
Does the stone have, and I say this entirely seriously, does the stone have feelings that Satho can sense, given his training with
Yes,
Jory? I see.
it is a feeling with your sensitivity to emotions. Make an insight check with advantage against the rock.
Eat the rock.
You've never been able to read emotions very well, let alone those of a large meteorite. But as you try, as you sense, as you feel, as you extend your empathy, you feel a sense of hope as you approach. You feel a longing to return to somewhere, but if you had to equate it to your own life, it's that longing that you feel to return to Lilea. Or, well, I don't want to presume how you feel now, but how you felt. It is familiar, but alien, because again, it's a fucking stone. It's a big fucking meteorite. It's with. That's what you sense. You're the first to hear the voice. Perhaps it's your sensitivity. Perhaps there's a connection. You have come. Is it to aid? Or is it to harm? You feel like there's some more words, but you're just too far away to hear them.
If Satho can sort of think back, I believe we're here to aid.
Closer.
I'd like to move closer. Would you like to join me?
Those of you that are joining, as you step closer, the voice becomes clear to all who step forward. And a little bit louder. Once I was whole. I orbited the three suns. And now I am fragment. I was forced to fall this world by some force unknown even to me. I sensed you when you touched fragments of stone that had been in contact with what remained me. I know of your struggles from our connection. This valley has taxed you, and I wish to reimburse. Dwarf, you and your friend have already paid a heavy price for the life of your friend Hadak. I can return what you have lost, Dwarf, but for you, Elf, I cannot give you what you have lost, but I can help you find a new path to regain the power you lost. Construct. You wish to dream, correct? What have I told you? By my power, that is possible. For those in this valley that have been put off balance by the presence of my missing shards, well, know this. They are not damned, nor was I trying to punish them. Once I have returned to orbit, the land will begin to heal. Balance will be restored. Please, please, aid me. I feel my pieces. They are not far. They are close. The voice drifts off into silence.
And if you are not made whole, will this corruption spread as far as your pieces go?
As far as they go. And they will. You know the way of this dwarf. Valuable commodities have a way of traveling far. And I am valuable. My corruption will spread as far as they go. My corruption. It does not belong to me. Merely a byproduct.
Do you feel those pieces? Could you tell us where they are? I felt the dust from a jeweler in the camp. Even that small, do you feel it?
I do not feel the small pieces. Those are unimportant. The ones that are pure, like the crystals you see floating in my core, those are the ones I need back. There are only 3, and I feel them. I feel where they are, yes. Vaguely. But if you wish to help me, I can direct you.
And if we help you, the corruption will stop, right?
If
Yo.
you help me, I will return to orbit, and the land will return to a balanced state.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as if we have no other choice then.
There's always a choice.
You can get yourself to orbit. This isn't just a trick to get your pieces together to make yourself powerful.
No. It is not a trick. What purpose would there be into falling to this planet, spreading my corruption, and then attempting to leave? Surely if I wished my corruption to spread, I would just stay, and not call brave heroes like yourself to aid me in returning to where I belong.
I am just curious. Zibialakalis told us about the last question he was asked by the Cyclops was how to leave this planet. Did you arrive before the time of the Cyclops or after? It seems
After-
coincidental that they're looking for an escape and you landed here.
Perhaps it is just that, for I landed after. However, what brought me here, I felt its influence slightly for thousands of years. I slowly drifted to your planet. I only landed a few decades ago, but I first felt the pull thousands of years ago.
If you claim to be passive and not wanting to bring harm to our lands, then where did this corruption come from?
A byproduct. As I said, I am powerful. The creatures that I come into contact with, plants, animals, they are not ready for that power, and they might never be. As long as I am in contact with them, the corruption will continue. It is not a choice I make, but, well, as you mortals say, or as those mortals that created you say, it simply is what it is.
I do say that.
I've heard them say that, it's true.
I recall.
Yeah. Where are these 3 pure crystals?
One is somewhere south, submerged in water, surrounded by cut stone, but it is not far. One is in the hands of an Anadi. He grasped another of my pieces. I've whispered to him to return me, but he has fashioned me into a vehicle for hallucinogenic inhalation. My final missing piece is held by a reclusive writer nearby who has only called himself in his mind the Master of Sorrows. That is all I know of where I am. I wish I could provide more, make your quest easier. But I am cut off from full awareness of my missing pieces. But I sense them. They are close, much closer than the sun's.
What did the enchanter do to you that caused his ruin?
He climbed upon me, he saw my worth, and at first he only gathered herbs that were affected by my corruption. His curiosity grew too great. He collected shards of myself. He took me away, and I do not know where I ended up. All I know is that I am submerged in water and surrounded by stone.
I think that Rick's gonna just take off his little thing, pour it out, and chuck the little crystal he has at the big rock. just in case.
I appreciate the gesture. And as the rock goes towards the middle, it floats and begins to join the orbit of all the other crystals.
We don't have to get the one out of the scavenger rank. See, like straight up ate you.
The dust. The dust that is the residue of me. It is not important. I do not need every speck. I merely need the core pieces, the 3 pieces. Then I
I,
can
for
leave.
one, think we have seen the effects of these core pieces that they could have. They are safer here than they are in the hands of the residents of the valley. Just throwing a thought out there.
A good one at that, the crystal says reassuringly.
Thank you, Crystal, for your reassurance.
It is very supportive.
Listen, I know we only got 2 weeks, but this is a way to get those Leonin back to normal, hypothetically. A way to fix the enchanter. Way to stop the spread. That's only gonna affect more and more people. And selfishly, it's a way to get my power back. That's true.
It is not entirely selfish. You being capable whilst we are in hell is not foolish. If this is something that we believe we can accomplish without having to sacrifice our chances with Sathos people or the city, then I am on board. However, as much as it goes against some of my principles, this is a tertiary objective for me. If it comes down to it, I will choose the other 2. I do not slay undead for the thrill of it. I save it for the city.
Who knows how far this corruption could spread if we don't stop it, though. It could
I'm
spread
willing to
not-
see how much work we can get done. And if we are unable to solve it entirely, at least we will make a dent. Perhaps make this something we could clean up later, but according to my auguries, we do not need the full 2 weeks. So we have time to devote towards this. This is a worthy cause if there was one.
I agree.
So I say let
That-
us see what we can do in the time that we have. As long as we can all agree to leave, if need be. I will take your nods as approval. Great.
The crystal's nodding too. It's just like, yeah.
The rocks are just bobbing.
Just
It's unsettling. Alright, so, am I lifting this thing?
Sounds like he doesn't need the ones at the door, but the other ones might be heavy.
They are small.
Oh, never mind.
Well then, great. Where do we start? I'd say, no reason to waste any more time faffing about.
And here, just to kind of make the choice easier, just to recap, 3 ways you can go here. You can head towards whatever. There's 3 pieces. One piece, he said, was to the south.
Mhm.
submerged in water, surrounded by cut stone. One was in the hands of the Anadi, one was with the Master of Sorrows. Those are the three directions right now.
Do I know who the Master of Sorrows is? Is that like a alias
History
for
check.
God? Okay.
It's a
this is
fairly
the
easy
Wiki
history
story.
check, by the way. Anyone who is a reader would have advantage on the check. If you think you read a lot of fiction in Azora, you would have advantage on this check.
No. Yeah, this method. If it's not like religious
Fiction,
knowledge, then it would make
not the information, not the archives, not factual. What is the point?
Kodok
but
isn't like an avid reader. It's that whatever he puts into the archives, and if he needs to read something, he knows where to find it. But he doesn't like read for fun. It's
Right.
like an obligation faith thing.
Rick, however,
Rick's heard about him. He's like, that sounds melodramatic as fuck.
you've heard of the Master of Sorrows. He wasn't always called this. He had another name, but that name's been forgotten. He's a bard, shrouded in mystery. He resides in his retreat, and you didn't know where until now, but presumably in this valley. He's always been surrounded by an air of melancholy and despair, because he spends his days writing stories of tragedy, drawing inspiration from the tales of travelers who come to visit him, and these visitors are often drawn to the Master's retreat, curious about the man himself. These stories are hauntingly beautiful, but his fascination fixates on stories that focus on someone who has experienced great pain and loss. Those are the ones that seem to resonate most deeply with his soul. Those are the kind of stories he wants to hear from travelers. One other thing you've heard. He's retired now. He has been for many years. He retired whenever he gained the moniker Master of Sorrows. He gained that moniker because every single story he wrote came true. Some major event mirrored the events of his stories every time. He couldn't handle it. It's what sent him off to his retreat.
Yeah, we'll kind of go over this. Be like, kind of makes sense then. All this divination here. I wonder if he's focusing his power. I wonder if he's seeing his visions again. I wonder what they'll mean for us. But I don't know where he is.
One of the Minotaur had mentioned that putting the loot in the statue was perhaps a prank from the Master of Sorrows. Perhaps he's near the Road of Cyclopean Heroes. Just a guess, really.
Also,
I sense the stone. The one the Master holds. North.
and also, wasn't there? I remember there being a well of some sorts back in the Enchanters, and he mentioned water surrounded by stone. So that's another route. That's 2 down.
Look at this kid.
I
He's
believe
using his noggin.
excellent powers of deduction.
Actually, I'm using my chest.
Mm-hmm.
All the same.
You hear a buzzing sound of some sort of insect coming from his chest. Whether that's what he's referring to, hard to say, but there is that noise.
Love to point out the obvious, but I'm sure that this Anadi is in the hive city of Kenrax. Unless he is an outcast, but a good place to start, at least. Oh, Kirinax, I said it wrong. I'm not Anadi.
I am more than willing and in fact excited to go here. We could perchance meet this queen. Maybe word has spread of us. If nothing else, a description of me is fairly easy. So maybe word has already traveled somehow from the ones we saved, the ones who escaped. Maybe we meet them.
I have always been curious to learn more about them.
I think this is a wise direction. It coincides with current goals.
Do you think that we should start by traveling north, or should we try to deal with Zenerum first? It can keep us invisible for 3 hours from the undead.
Yeah. Just to kind of reiterate what Satho just asked, where are we going first? Going to Zenerum, going to we have a lot of opinions, but we need a definitive goal. So we have Zenerum mentioned, we have the Hive City of Kirinax mentioned, and we have the Master of Sorrows retreat mentioned.
Alderween gave us a pretty good lead. Try the well first, come back up, talk to the Master of Sorrows. If he can see our future, maybe he'll know where the Anani is better.
Excellent.
You also have the most to lose, Satho. So my suggestion is whatever yours would be. If it were up to me, you would set the pace. I know it is not something you're accustomed to doing, but something you should, or you ought to learn to be.
Then let
According
us
to Rosefinch.
head to Zenerum. We have an advantage of knowing the terrain.
It's 2 for Zenerum. 3 for Zenerum. To
Yep.
Zenerum? To Zenerum.
Yeah, Clodok goes with whatever Satho said.
It doesn't take long. Let's see. You guys are just about 10 miles from there. I say it doesn't take long. It takes...
Oh, before we leave though, Brick's gonna be like, should we actually keep a piece of you to keep in contact, or?
Do you have any further questions, or do you think there would be further questions aroused from your journeys?
Probably not, and I'm probably glad not to let the corruption, no offense, spread. So, probably best
That is
to
my concern as
leave.
well. I do not wish to corrupt.
Glad to hear it.
The stone nods again.
So,
All right. Making your way southwards, we've already kind of been through this area, so I won't spend too much time describing it. But you return back to the center of Zenerum. Moving at a normal pace takes 3 hours. Moving at a fast pace, it would take like 2.5.
Just before we move too quickly, we want to make sure that we have a plan. We're going to retrieve a large enough stone from a well. Do we need any tools?
I still got some rope.
All right. And
I can be as a winch.
Mm-hmm. A brawny winch.
It would be
My favorite
no
kind of
effort.
winch.
The Basti Argonian no, it's a normal winch.
the brawny Argonian.
As you begin to head closer, it sounded like the implication was, did you want to stop for maybe any extra supplies within the oasis, any extra tools you might need? It wouldn't be hard to stop at the gate guards and ask them to grab it for you.
Since we have the hat and it's a well, I don't personally think we do, but up to you guys.
Smart.
Yeah, I think
That's
the
true.
hat has us covered.
We can conjure one thing that we need, so. If we have rope. Sure.
Then we go. Making our way over 3 hours. 1, 2, 3. You return to the center of Zenerum. The undead have been cleared out of the core here because of Hladok's purifying flames, as it were. And as such, it's relatively clear. The well is easily accessed. You can go up to it, and you see it is emitting this dank fog. But it is a well. You know what a well is.
Just to be safe, I will give us a little unseen march before we begin.
Absolutely. And you approach the well, confident with your unseen march. The well is there. It is emitting this fog. What are you doing?
Think pretty obvious. It's definitely down there, right? So how
Is
do we
one way
get
to
it?
find out.
Rick's like already tying you up to a rope. He's like, oh, I don't know. I think you'll figure it out. You got like wild shapes or something. You could probably come up with something.
All right, and Tish just shouts as as he's saying that. Unless you resist Alderguin, you plummet, start plummeting down the well.
Yeah, while
tied.
Rick is tying up Elder Queen, Hladok is tying the other end around like his own waist. I am winch.
Ronnie.
Just suddenly,
as you start to plummet down to the bottom of the well, and
Good
your rope
luck.
stops you just before you hit the water's surface. You're suspended there, looking down at the water. Just below, you see this purplish chunk of stone. It's glowing, much like the crystals that swirled around the violet stone itself.
Guys. I know we're here for something important, but I've never been in a well before, and I'm very excited about it.
They are exciting and full of mystery and intrigue.
I wasn't really sure what the inside of a well would look like, but, you know, this is probably what I should have expected. It's really dark and kind of damp, mossy. Yeah. But anyway, like I was saying, so I've never been inside a well before, and he just kind of keeps rambling.
And you hear that echoing out through the well, so like you just see, you don't see him in the fog. You see the rope disappear into the fog, and then you just hear that echoing out of the well.
He doesn't know we can't hear him.
But do you see the stone?
Huh?
The stone,
What?
Elder Queen.
Oh, yeah, the stone. Yeah, it's here. It's here.
Oh, excellent.
Should I just grab it?
Sure.
I'm
Can I
ready
grab
to
it?
winch.
Is
Yeah.
it within reaching
Yeah,
distance?
you can grab
Be
it.
careful for anything like in the water, just in case.
You grab it, and you begin to be winched up.
yeah, Hladok would like turn around and just like fucking linebacker sprint away from the well and just pull him
Yeah.
up.
As fast as you dropped is how fast you get shot up the well as you are suddenly pulled out, and you land at the top of the surface of the well, stone in hand. 1/3 of the journey complete.
Wow. That's it, huh? That's crazy. Job well done.
Yeah.
This was like an afternoon.
Now we can go.
Yeah, it
north.
was.
It was harder to walk over here than it was to get get the thing out of the well.
It's because I
Just knowing
remembered
what
this
you're
place.
looking for is helpful.
Yeah.
I kind of like this rock.
Hmm.
I think that is the point.
Can I hold on
and
to
the
it?
Problem.
For now.
There's only
Right.
room for one rock with Hodak, so it's
That's
occupied.
Jesus Christ. Amen.
No, that's the rock
Oh.
in my gut.
Right. How big is it, like roughly?
About the size of a football.
Okay. So he's gonna just open up his chest and he's just gonna put the crystal in there with his bugs. He's just gonna close it back. That felt way too easy.
What's up with Warforged and putting things in their chest?
It's just a thing
That's
that
just,
we all wish.
that's just a reference for me and Mook, but it is funny.
Yeah, but do the other ones have a living ecosystem of bugs inside of the chest?
No, just magic.
You got teleported to the fire plane.
Hmm.
Oh, and eventually
then
he
put
summoned
the whole
eldritch
fire
beings from
plane
the
as
thing in
well.
his chest.
Iron
That's not
Man.
important. Alderqueen, you stick this thing in your chest and it is there.
Well, I think it's safe to say that we should probably just leave things as they were here, considering we're trying to fix the corruption and I feel like we can't really do much here until that's done.
Yeah, let's fuck out of here. Let's get this corruption away from him. Maybe he'll chill out. And if he sees it,
All right.
he might not like it.
The well is down. Now we have two choices. If we're continuing this thought, we actually have many more choices. But if we're going down this thread some more, it's between the Anati now and the Master of Sorrows. Where's next?
We have a better idea. The Master of Sorrows is north, so I kind of figure that way.
1 for north. 2 for north.
For me.
3 for north. All right. As you begin to head north of the Violet Stone, this journey will take you 16 miles. It's 16 miles. How many? Okay, you can travel at 4 miles per hour at a fast pace, 3 miles per hour at a normal pace.
That's at least because we're using up Sathos' spell. I would think we want to at least be fast coming out of this town, but then we can probably go to normal if we want.
That makes the math hard. What if you just
Okay,
picked one all
just
the way?
Fast the whole time then.
Fast the whole way, you say. 4 miles per hour, 4 times 4, 4 hours. One, two, three, 4. It's around 9 p.m. at this point. As you arrive north.
Oh,
I like to think that they're still tied from the wench. And Hodak is just like full on sprinting and Alderqueen's just like trying to keep
Just
up.
like being dragged around like wedding cans on a car, just ping, 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 bouncing all over the ground.
So
Before you.
fucking brawny.
sure you can drink, but how strong are you?
Before you
Test your durability, you fuck.
is a massive lake stretching out as far as you can see. The waters are dark and murky. In the distance, you can see a constant whirlpool at the center that seems to draw everything in its reach towards it. The lake is surrounded by dense forest and a cool mist. The only sounds that can be heard are the mournful cries of what sound like spirits echoing out through the lake, but it could just be a sharp wind. The air is heavy, with a sense of sadness and despair from these mourns. And you see a ferry. And it is a sight to behold. Built on the shore of this lake, the ferry is a sleek and sturdy structure. The vessel its hull is made of a dark, polished wood, and sails that are dyed in vibrant hues of purple and gold. You see the ferryman himself, a mysterious figure draped in a long, flowing robe embroidered with intricate symbols and patterns, wandering around in the distance. The edge of the lake, the ferryman has set up the small dock, what looks like a place where people could board the ferry and embark on their journeys, but it's just such an isolated place that doesn't really make a lot of sense. The dock is surrounded by a cluster of tents and stalls. The tents are adorned with colorful tapestries and banners. The air is thick with the scent of exotic spices and perfumes. But the ferry is on the distance. You don't have to approach the ferry. There does seem to be a beach path as well.
Rick's good to just approach head on. This guy apparently knows about adventurers and their future, so if this is who we're looking for, he either knows or Rick's not that sneaky.
All right. You begin to approach, and you see the ferryman. He is a burly and balding figure, standing at an imposing height with broad shoulders and a muscular build. He has a certain air of mystique and intrigue surrounding him. His balding head is covered by a wide-brimmed hat. Sharp, observant eyes dart over to you, taking in everything about you. He's wearing a heavy coat to kind of resembles that robe-like figure you saw. It conceals his frame and adds to his already formidable presence. He looks at you. Well, hi there. What brings you to Shimshai Jim's ferry?
Wow, he's almost as brawny as Fladock.
Excuse you?
He's gonna pull you faster now, you know.
If I didn't ding you up before, I will now.
No
I
need to
said
compare.
almost.
This is a fine and mighty brawny specimen. I couldn't compare.
He like flares his traps a little bit. Like,
Yes, I
Just
am. It's so good of you to know.
doing the Terry Crews, like doing,
yeah.
yeah.
Flares the traps, rolls the delts a little bit, just like fucking wings out.
Can
Working on my lets.
can Rick do anything to figure out his style of clothing, like an insight or something, to figure out where he's from?
You can make an insight or a history check to gain some more information.
Well,
here,
let's
for
try
sure.
that.
Well, you can tell, just like looking at him, he's not one for small talk or frivolous conversation. That's why I engage you so directly. But those who engage him in business are likely to find him honest and straightforward. He carries himself like a person who has a shrewd mind. He looks at you with understanding, and his eyes reflect expertise based on his surroundings. And these expertise revolve around the acquisition of rare and exotic goods. He seems like someone who has found a lot of respect in his life among even adventurers and travelers who would seek him out this far. So much so that he doesn't seem concerned about 4 strangers approaching him in the middle of fucking nowhere, which most people would be a little concerned about.
And is it just him on this whole ferry?
Just
crew?
him.
Yeah.
No crew.
We're looking for the Master of Sorrows. Any way you could tell us where he is, bring us to him?
Oh yeah, both those things. Do you need me to tell you where he is if I'm going to bring you to him, though?
No.
Fair enough. Then come on aboard. And he points over to the ferry. It ain't far. I won't charge you for the trip.
He's gonna lean over to Sato, because you know
But what
that's
I
who
would
he.
charge you for are any of my fine goods that I have here. Not planning on going on another mercantile expedition for a while, but if I can offload some goods now, I will. Mostly got spices and the other kind. Don't know if any of that would be interesting to you adventuring type, but just thought I'd throw that out there.
It wouldn't hurt to browse.
Hmm. Well, I got some fine linens, silks. I got
Oh.
some exotic spices and herbs. Anything you might be interested in?
Yeah. The mention of textiles, I couldn't help but I think I should just take a look, just to see.
And you do. You see a bunch of like fine materials, but make it just a quick perception check. You see a stylish silk garment, not linen, disappointingly. It looks popular among perhaps nobles. It is stylized with a number of serpents that are all brightly colored and kind of frame the robe. It's the most notable thing you see. But there are, many expensive other things, but that's the most useful to an adventurer, perhaps.
This silk robe with the serpents on it's rather striking.
Ah, it is merely a 300 gold piece item. It is uncommon. You can pull one of these snakes off, and he kind of tugs at it, and throw it off. It will become real.
Rather interesting. Yeah.
Whoa.
Feel as if I've seen that somewhere on my travels, but my memory fails.
Tell you what, 300 gold is a bit steep. Let's make it 150 because you seem trustworthy and you should know. With this robe, you pull all the snakes off, it is just a robe.
There's a little demeaning to say it is just a robe. A robe has many applications.
That is
There's a
true.
blanket, a tent, a hammock, a way to conceal weapons.
You're correct, but I still wouldn't feel right charging 300 gold, maybe 200 gold instead, somewhere in between.
Your offer is very kind.
That's
You've
better.
convinced him it's more useful than he was giving it credit for.
Classic Ladok, never to downplay anything but himself.
That is a very kind offer, and I unfortunately don't have quite that much gold for you.
Hey, I'm willing to take credit. Wherever you go, I'll be able to collect.
All right, and do you always collect in gold, or do you seek
Gold?
fine
If
pieces
you can't
like
pay
this?
me back in gold, I'll take trade.
I see. I have this pearl. It's worth about 100 gold.
A down payment or a part of the payment?
If I could find you something worth 50 gold down the road, I'm
Your
sure we
friend
would
convinced
find
me
each
it's
other.
worth 200 gold.
If I could find something worth at least 100 gold, I'm sure we would find each other down the road somewhere.
Ladok's really good
nods.
at bartering.
He nods and
I do what I can.
are you good for it? He doesn't look at you. He looks at Rick.
Is Satho good for it, or like am I? Oh yeah, I mean, you can trust Satho with anything.
And he puts his hand out, and he
He knows
holds the robe in
everything.
the other hand.
Then here's my offer, a pearl and a promise of 100 more gold, or equivalent.
And I'll collect that. One way or another. And he hands you over the robe. And you can go ahead and track that. You can trade me that pearl, in fact.
To Oog storage.
Correct.
Gotcha.
I've been told about how
And-
bartering works and how you can get it to get deals and discounts on various goods, but I've never seen anyone do it in reverse. That's like advanced bartering.
I am an innovator. See if it was 100. Oh, when we're off on our own. No, you might say this in front of the guy. Fuck it. If it was only one thing 150, then we would have likely had to leave 150 gold worth of collateral. But upon gaining his trust and insisting the true value of his things, that robe, a simple robe, is at least worth 50 gold pieces. He only took a 100 gold down payment. While the item was worth more, the cost was less. This is called honest trade.
Oh,
If I am selling you something and I don't like you, I will cut you no slack. If I do, we can have agreeable terms.
Satho, go and roll me a d4 plus 3. That's just going to be how many snakies are on this robe of serpents.
Snakeums.
5.
Snackums.
Let's see. Activation cost 1. What does it say? Does it say action? Bonus action. 1. Bonus action. 5 of 5. And it doesn't recharge, so it's just 5 of 5. Okay. You got your Robo Serpents there. It's in your inventory. Charges are set. He looks at you. Are you ready to get on board, or anything else you might be interested in?
you know, I thought you were really suspicious when we first approached you, but if Satho trusts you, then you must be alright, because Satho's smart.
I didn't feel any concern at all when you approached me. Weird how that works.
See, when you meet a traveling trader, generally, you don't need to trust them as a person, but as a merchant. It's a different level of trust.
That's true. Establishing that trust can be difficult, but usually, if people come this far to one of my many homes, one of my many ferries, I should say, well, they're either trustworthy or, well, they're not. And if they're not, I guess I don't worry too much about that. I feel like they'll make that known. And once they make that known, I'm pretty confident I could deal with it. Anyway, I'm gonna go get the boat ready. You take your time. And he starts to head off and prepare the boat for its voyage. Oh, that is assuming you are taking the ride and not the beachside stroll.
I've never been on a boat before.
Can I ask what your normal destination is?
Oh yeah, and he points out towards the whirlpool.
You bring people to the whirlpool, and what are they?
No. Bring myself and my goods.
Oh,
People usually don't come out this far.
you have a way in the whirlpool?
Way into other places, other whirlpools.
And this Sorrows guy, deal much with him?
Oh, them Minotaur kind, they want rides all the time to go see him. They love his stories, love telling him stories. Some try to get him to ride again, but I don't think any have been successful.
Need any help getting your ship together? I know land vehicles.
Oh no! And he snaps his finger, and as you do, you see the ship starts to prepare itself.
Oh,
But I do got a few things down below to make sure we're all set up. So I'm gonna
can
be heading off. Unless-
Rick's super interested in this boat? Is this artifice or is this arcane?
Make an Arcana check.
He has never seen something like do this to itself.
from your understanding, this has to be magic of some sort, because there's no machines, there's no whirring, there's no gears. It's just he snapped his finger, a little bit of spark, everything's whirring to life. But the exact nature of it, you're unsure.
Okay. I'm ready to go if you guys are.
Sorry, I missed that.
Ready to go?
Absolutely.
Okay. You guys begin to board the vessel. And you sail slowly, just lazily across this lake for a little bit of time. About another hour goes by as you save some time traveling by ship. You see the Master of Sorrows retreat in the distance as you sail closer. It is a beautiful and serene location, nestled within a far nook of the valley. It's a large blue and violet mansion, surrounded by towering trees and a babbling brook that runs nearby. Looks well furnished from what you can tell here. Large statues of presumably either artistic characters or maybe even the Master of Sorrows himself are built outside. And you see a small garden blooming with a variety of flowers and herbs, adding a splash of color to the surroundings. As the ship docks, or, it gets close enough to the shore that you can swim out, your nose is filled with a scent of sweet wildflowers. The sound of birds singing in the trees can be heard in the distance. But the mansion, the walled mansion, is yours to approach from here. As you try to look, well, that's as far as the boat takes you.
Well, thank you for the ride.
He nods. Of course. Now get off.
Going to disembark.
All right. Well, I'll be here for about another hour getting things ready. If you're done by then, you can catch a ride back. If not, well, the beachside path will take you back.
Sounds good. 1 hour. Hopefully a real in and out, but keep that in mind.
You begin to approach the fortress.
How long was the little boat ride?
About an hour.
Would this have constituted a short rest?
Yeah, you get a short rest in an hour.
Yeah, knowing that we're gonna do a boat ride or whatever, Hlodok would have. I'll use my divine, whatever it's called. Get a spell slot back, and then short rest, get channel divinity back, just to try to recoup that magic I used earlier.
You got it. Arriving on the far side. The mansion's there before you. The gates, you see a large bell that can be pulled on, presumably for visitors, right outside the gate.
Stop yerking it and knock.
It's rather hard to knock the bell.
Hlodok, bing, knocks the bell with his little crystal knuckles.
And as you do,
Bling,
you
bling,
hear...
bling, bling, bling.
It keeps going.
Speed bag the thing.
A few minutes pass by until eventually the gate opens. There you see standing a thin, almost frail-looking human, a melancholic air about him. His face is pale and gaunt. High cheekbones and deep-set eyes seem to reflect profound sadness. His hair is long and dark, falling in tangles around his shoulders, and his hands are slender and delicate, long, thin fingers that are stained with ink. He's dressed in flowing robes of deep blue and black, adorned with intricate silver embroidery. He steps forward with grace and elegance. His eyes gaze around. Ah, Morfans! You all look to be from Azora. Is Nofsog nearby, or did you travel a long way, I wonder? Well, it matters not, but I'll be happy to sign any material you might want. Just don't ask me to get back into writing. I'm retired. And he kind of looks at you all.
I don't think I'd be called a fan. I didn't know who you were until about a few hours ago.
Oh,
Rick
you
is a
wounded
fan.
me? Oh, you healed me.
As I am known to do.
Yes.
Yes.
He's right, you know.
I don't like fiction.
Why not?
It's not real.
Forgive
But the
him, he
message it
cannot dream.
gives. I understand.
Right.
That's
can't.
all you need to know.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
it's fiction, but dreams put to pen.
what brings you to my halls? You never heard of me. Not here for an autograph. What brings you to my gate?
We were told you have in your possession a crystal of the large purple rock that's to the south.
Purple. Oh, you want this? And he holds up an inkwell that seems to be made from the missing piece. But why do you want my inkwell? I merely fashioned it to hold ink because I thought it was pretty.
Frankly, you have fashioned it out of something that you should not. I would be more than happy to find you an alternative, but if it is for nothing more than decoration, I assure you this is a dangerous thing to keep.
Dangerous?
The,
What way?
the massive elk creatures. I saw one succumbing to the result of these crystal shards. It is not a pretty sight.
Ah, the gargantuelks. Yes.
The gargantuelks, for sure. I assure you, I am not trying to scam you out of something. This is truly dangerous.
He looks at you. Dangerous. What ways has it been dangerous? And he's staring intently at the inkwell.
It is a piece of corruption, you could call it.
Corruption?
Cursed, in a way.
Cursed.
Why do I
Not
feel
I.
like this is doing it for you?
No. It's I don't want to get too hopeful too quick, but yes. Take it. Take it. Take it now. If what you say is true, if this is the source of my ills, I might be able to come out of retirement. Take it now.
The robot, I'm not touching it. Gestures to Aldergreen.
Did your inkwell ever speak to you? That's
No. I put my ink in it and I wrote, but the stories only became true after I got the inkwell. Take it. Please, you want it?
Don't mind
take
if I
it.
do. He just
Thank
reaches
you.
out and just snatches it.
Oh,
And he's kind of just holding it, and he's just
I
kind of
must get in
staring
touch.
at it for a while.
I'm sorry. I have to go. I have to go talk to my publisher.
It is
I have some works to show him.
quite late.
Sure, but he... Oh, you're right. I suppose we wait till the morning. But I've been working on these things so long, but only I have been able to read them. I want to share them. But you're right, it's late.
Hmm.
Well, regardless, thank you. I don't know if you're deceivers. Maybe you just wanted a souvenir. Maybe this is some elaborate trick and this is how you think you'll get me back to writing, and maybe it will, but I swear if people start dying again, I'm quitting forever.
I don't know if this will solve all of your problems. There could be more than one, but I do know for sure that this thing is dangerous. So if this is the only piece of that purple crystal that
The
you
only piece
have,
I've taken from them, yes.
Plus,
then I
people die
believe
all
we
the
should
time.
lead.
That's true, but I feel like I've been
There's
directly
probably someone
causing
dying
that.
right now,
I agree, but
and also right now.
I think he's more talking about the unfortunate outcome of his writing.
Oh, his imaginary stories, right?
Oh,
when
they
they
are
become
imaginary until
unimaginary.
they come true.
Right.
So then you're not a fiction writer.
I try to be. But it's fiction until it's not, you know?
You must not be a very good writer then.
Or I'm the best. And he smiles, and his smile quickly disappears to a frown. Or the worst.
So you have many stories you just haven't published yet.
Very many.
And these ones haven't come true yet then.
I don't know, I haven't been in Azora. Have any of you lost a father recently?
I gained a
Yes.
father.
Both Satho and I have recently witnessed the loss of a father.
That's true.
I thought it was just published stories. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
The story of a knight. One who was never meant to be a knight. That is what I wrote.
Hmm. In this story you wrote, how did the father die? What was the root cause?
Indecision. A lack of focus from those that could save him.
I
Oh,
see.
well. It wasn't quite a lack, but not enough to prevent it. 'Cause they found him. They did. Just not in time.
I could have told you that.
I had no way of knowing. But I am sorry. I
Thank you.
should have written a happier ending for you, but I didn't.
Do you have that choice?
Could I write happier endings? Yes, but... And I have. None of them have come true. I never feel passionate. I never feel like I have a true message to speak on unless it is drenched in tragedy. And so those truths have never come to be. Those happy truths.
You would prefer to write stories of heroics, great deeds?
Prefer? I have no preference. I merely go where the art calls me. I listen to the stories that people bring me, and I internalize them, and then I write about them. The stories people bring me are so often plagued with tragedy. That is my truth that I see, and I try to reflect that in my writing. But I've
Have
taken
you-
the inkwell. Continue.
Have you tried anything other than when you write? Is just what comes to your mind, these visions? How do they come to you?
No. Well, first I follow a structure. The classical story is telling structure, and as I work through it, a voice speaks to me. One I've called my inspiration, my muse. I don't know what it is, but it tells me what is a good story, what is bad. Every time I've tried to write a happy story, it always feels bad. But the sad ones, they've always been good in the term of storytelling.
And what did you write before this inkwell? What will you write without it?
Tragedies and tragedies. It's my calling. I just wish for my fiction to be separated from reality.
Will it maybe again?
Again? Yes, there was a time when people knew my name and didn't just call me the Master of Sorrows. That was a better time. A time I long for. I wanted people to think, not to dwell. But when it really happens, how can you not dwell?
And your tragedies, without them occurring, how are they supposed to make people feel?
They're supposed to make people think. Think about their decisions. Think about the decisions of the characters. Think about how those decisions led them to where they got. And they can internalize some meaning there, whatever they seek. Hopefully it is a healthy one. But either way, I seek to put beauty in it. Truth comes first, however. His eyes gaze over to the rest of you. But you've taken the inkwell. The hour's late. I wish to return and talk to my publisher, but he might not be able to receive me at this hour. You're correct. So I suppose I have nothing but time. Could I interest you and all of you in a drink? Perhaps a sampling of my retreat here? Finding a comfortable place to lay your weary heads?
You know, we had somewhere to be in
Then do
about
not
an
let me
hour,
stop
but,
you.
but upon recent revelations, I do believe a drink is in order.
Smiles and smile again. Every time a smile appears on his face, it just disappears a few seconds later. Back to a
For
frown.
the father.
Ah. I owe you at least a drink. He turns back. Shall we take it in the garden? I do love the night sky and the beauty of the stars.
And do you mind if we read some of your unpublished works? if your visions are visions of tragedy. We've worked with some divine magic recently. It seems in the same vein. It'd be good to have that knowledge, but if you are all tragedy, then part of me doesn't want to know.
I wouldn't want to know either if it's prophecy.
You know,
So I will leave that
these-
choice up to you. You can read them if you like. But know they may be just that. Prophecy.
I know a place they belong. An archive of sort. I would be more than willing to add them in the case of prophecy.
Archive. A wizard
Deliver
visited
them.
me and mentioned that word. Is it
Hmm.
of this Nethys?
Mm-hmm. You know of him.
I've heard from Karum. If what he says is true, then that knowledge that I've written is already in there. I have no
True.
way of knowing if it is true, but that is just what he said. You're welcome to
might
read them
look.
nonetheless.
If it is true and thus are already written in the archives, then I could check. I have a way to access them. So I may, therefore, too, have a way to validate.
Well, head into the garden. I will pull a random work from my unpublished study, and I will allow you to flip through it. Please make
Great.
yourselves welcome here. Let me get you drinks first. Any preference? Rum, whiskey, gin? I only have those three. Don't really carry beer or wine.
Whiskey. That's fun to
Whiskey it
say.
is.
That's fun
Whiskey
to say.
it is. I will bring a keg along with the writings. Please make yourselves comfortable. And you all do. And as you do, you settle in the garden.
I think Rick will, once they're kind of alone, he'll look to Satho mainly, but he'll say this aloud to the group and be like, you went uncorrupted by this similar stone for a century. I wonder if we can get this guy an uncorrupted rock similar to your eye. I wonder if he can start having positive visions of the future.
Interesting idea. I wonder why the corruption suddenly led to his prophecy.
Yeah, it's a long shot. I'm not sure, but just thinking if you hadn't heard these whispers, if you hadn't had these problems, who's to say how many problems were caused by your eye? Maybe others can avoid whatever's befalling what's happening in this valley.
Worth a try. The difference between the negative effect and a positive effect seems to be perhaps just the hand of the Shaper.
He returns. And he says, here's the drink. And here for you. I found something that felt relevant. And he hands it to you, and you begin to read the story, picking through it. It describes a character. The character is vague. It is in literary terms. It is like very rough draft plot form. It's not edited or refined by any means. But it describes a character. The character wanders into a temple of some sort. The character sees a mosaic. The mosaic is breathtaking. It has vibrant colors and intricate details. In the center of this mosaic, they see a crystalline creature that resembles a dragon, but humanoid. This mosaic depicts them being devoured by a pool of bubbling acid. The creature's body contorts in agony. But then, something miraculous happens. As two other figures, an elf and a dwarf, carry the body to an altar. The mosaic depicts a beautiful scene of some abstract form that is described. You actually get a lot of filler notes here. It's like, get some flowery language in here with like a little carrot top. It's very rough and unrefined, so he hasn't described the mosaic very well, but you see that it talks about something weaving magic into the dissolved body of this crystalline creature. The elf holds up what could be a purple gemstone and tethers pull from the dwarf's mind. The story isn't finished, but it stops at a point where the final scene depicts this mosaic, this character seeing this mosaic, showing the crystalline dragonborn, alive and well, standing aside his companions, with half of his scales now blackened. Something watches over them, some form, again abstract, hasn't been defined well. But that form, that abstract form, every time it is mentioned, a sense of serenity, of purpose, surrounds it. One thing you are unsure about, in every scene, it keeps mentioning the topic changes. Perhaps it is it is sometimes described as a strange bush or a tree with legs. It's not clear what this monstrosity could be, but it is mentioned often, and it seems to be building up to something about this strange tree creature. The story is not finished. The story is not complete.
I don't have to check the archives.
Tilts his head to the side. And why not?
Did you truly choose this at random?
I did.
The book about the crystalline humanoid dragon.
Oh, is that the one it is? I literally just kind of grabbed it and pulled it out. I wrote that so many years ago, though. I'd kind of forgotten about it until now.
I had forgotten over the last couple of days. But thank you for the reminder of my agonizing demise.
That was not the intention.
Hmm.
I was merely acquiescing to your request.
I understand. But you remember the stories that you write to an extent.
I remember it now that you mention it, but I write so many stories.
Then I would like to ask you questions.
He nods.
Because I fear that the curse was very prevalent when you wrote this. Did you write books about spiders? Hives?
Many. About both.
What the squids?
Not squids, but creatures that sap the intelligence of others that resemble squids.
Hmm. Could you bring these books?
Most of them are unfinished.
What of a book of uh, hell?
Hell. It is a
Diff-
topic that even I stray from. It
Hmm.
frightens me, and I have worried lately, especially, that with all the sorrows that I have caused, am I not destined for the hells? It's hard to say, but it is why I avoid writing about them. Even before I knew what I could do with my writing, I was always afraid that putting that out there could bring something terrible back down upon me. So I avoided it.
These stories that you write, do you come up with them, or did they come to you?
It depends. Some of them are inspired by the tales others tell me, but ultimately, I put my own creative spin on it. So yes, it is typically my story. Well, it is someone else's story, but I do my thing with it.
A tree with legs. Not very creative.
I don't know how to describe it, but every time I thought of it, it's supposed to be like part plant, part machine. It's supposed to play with the idea of not really being human.
Mm.
No
His
offense
eyes
to you
kinda just-
non-humans.
His eyes just kind of go as wide as they can.
Human, no offense to the part tree, part machine, not quite human.
That's just like
Maybe a
me.
better word is not
He's like me for
organic,
real.
because I don't want to offend. I see I'm the only human here, in fact, so it makes me seem very racist by saying that, but it isn't.
Hey, stop.
Hmm.
What if you had the chance to tell your stories, but there was the option for a happy ending? Are you committed to your tragedies?
I'm only committed to my tragedies because they have been what interest me the most. If I could get interested in a happy tale, I would, and I certainly would be interested if my happy tales could bring about greater change in the world.
You do seem to possess a gift I don't fully understand. And my friend Satho here had an eye that was a lot like your inkwell, but it did not seem to have the same effect. I was wondering, maybe if you wanted to, if we found a way to get something similar to his eye back, get him that same power that he once had, might be able to get you a similar inkwell. Get you writing prophecies that maybe can be changed, that we can do something before their ill effects take hold, or we'll know when something positive is about to happen.
If you can make me into the master of, I don't know what you would call joy, master of joy, I would be very grateful. Or better yet, give me my name back.
I'll tell you what, I kind of need a publicist. If you help me, maybe we can help you.
He nods. Well, I have many contacts in the publishing industry. If you wish to get your message out there, that is certainly something I can do for you.
I would be amenable to a partnership of some kind.
then partners it is. If you can deliver on what you say, which is a great task. But never before have any travelers come to my gates with such purpose.
Yeah, well, luckily, he's going to point to Satho's eye. Like, we got to fix that up. Get it right as rain again. And if we can find the source to do that, hopefully there's enough to set you up as well.
I know it looks right now, but it's not what it was.
He nods. I take it you're the elf from the story.
You could say that.
I understand.
And the rock that this inkwell comes from, if it matters for anything, he does seem to be sorry for the ills he has caused. I am hoping that once everything is returned to him, he'll be able to continue forward. You can lose these visions that you have, and I can't promise you that we'll give you visions of the future, but there's a well nearby that expands divination powers, and if anything, at least we have some sort of proof that it's possible.
Then I suppose all that is left, besides for you to finish your drinks, is to wish you luck, partner. I hope you can obtain these things, and do not worry. If you cannot, what am I going to do? Not write a story about you, that's for sure.
Is your publisher in Azora? Is there a way to contact you easily?
Yes. I work with an individual known as Rose Finch. He is sort of my main contact to Azora. He gave me this magical item that lets me talk to him. He talks to my publisher. He can get you into contact with my publisher.
Masad Rosefinch. You said,
Yes. You know him?
I do. Very well.
We have met.
Small world.
Funnily enough,
Smaller than you know.
I actually have a favor to ask of you, though you've done nothing but show us kindness.
He nods. Well, I did not show your knight friend very much kindness, so I feel I owe it to you to help in whatever way I can.
We have shown the knight's brother less kindness, but that's neither here nor there.
I thought it'd be a little bit funny if his legs got blown off. It was a little ironic, you know.
It was not funny when you were there, but I can understand when you were writing it.
I'm sure it was more horrifying in the moment, but afterwards, I from what I saw, he took it well.
He
And then
did
got
actually
over the wheel
acclimatize
and he rolled
very
around.
well.
I'm sorry. It's funny. It's a funny visualization. I understand this is a real person now, and that's terrible. But it's a little frog.
But
And
if
his
it wasn't
legs are
real,
attached
it
to a
would be very
wheel.
funny.
Yes.
But the next time you speak with Rosefinch, if you could just let him know that Satho doesn't think he's going to make the drinks on Women's Day, he'll understand.
He looks at you. I'll tell him.
Thank you.
And I do apologize. If we're not to call you the Master of Shadows, if that's not a moniker that you want to stick by, what is your name?
He looks at you. You might not understand why, but I need someone to give it to me. I need someone who knows me or me to tell me who I am. Until that happens, It is not my name. Until it happens, I am the Master of Sorrows. That is the name I am known by. And if I tell you it is not the name I am known by, but the name I have given you, you must give it to me.
Well, until we know each other better, partner, I'm gonna have to stick with Master Sorrows.
And what should I call you?
Call me Rick.
Takes your hand and shakes it. Rick it is. Will you be staying for the night?
Hell yeah, let's get fucked up.
As you begin to drink, Alderguin, you're getting ready to speak. And you all notice a spark, a whir, something disrupting. Your eyes begin to flicker, Alderguin. Your eyes begin to disrupt. The energy within you weakens. You feel this. Do you have anything you want to say before the power goes out?
I think he's kind of more panicked than anything else and afraid. So he's kind of shifting, looking at everyone. I don't know what's happening.
Flicker, flicker. The eyes are green. They flick to red, and when the red flicks to anger, you feel anger. You feel you're going through all the emotions you've been programmed to feel to try to find some programming that will stop this, that will save you. You don't find it. The eyes go dim. Your face slams into the table.
I thought he could handle his drink.
He's just playing. Come on, buddy. This stuff isn't as strong as it was yesterday. Come on. He like grabs his head, lifts it up. He's like, all right, come on, let's go. Slams.
Another like,
He's like, all right, let's try again. He lifts it up again. Tap, tap, tap. Let's go. Oh.
Yeah, every time just.
And
And like as you pull him, like normally his mechanics work in a way that make his movement smooth, but you hear like almost the cracking of bones, mechanical bones, that tick, 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 as you have to like force him up. It's rigid.
Just curious, are the bugs doing anything? Are they moving around?
They're still in there. They, one by one,
Are they like defensive in any way?
well, one by one, they begin to leave until they are all gone.
Oh.
The swarms spread out. There are no bugs inside of Alderguin anymore. You want to try to catch how many?
Rick's
you wanna
just
try to catch a few?
trying. He's like, okay, he doesn't. Nope, you guys are his favorite. Nope.
Animal handling check. How many bugs of the swarm will you be? How
Are
many bugs
bugs
do you have inside of you,
animals?
Alderguin?
I
think it
wrote
was
it
like-
down.
Oh yeah.
392.
392.
Nice.
You catch 56 bugs.
Oh, that's like icking me the fuck out if you're scooping up 56 bugs.
I've
just,
got
like,
them.
fucking squirming around.
Look, I'm not crushing them.
He's just like grabbing him. He's like
what do I do
shoving
with
him back in. He's like, okay, someone open up the flap. Someone open up the flap. Take that thing out that he just shoved into him.
C-section him. I'll open up his flap, whatever that means.
Whatever he just
Yeah.
took out to put in him, take it out. I'm putting these bugs back in.
You put the bugs back in, and they all try to scurry out again in the same way they did.
Fuck.
They seem to have been drawn as you open them up and you look by that living Arcanite core that is in his chest. It is inert. It is supposed to be a self-sustaining energy source, one that keeps itself going forever. It's not supposed to go inert, but it has.
At the side of that, he's like, oh fuck. Because I don't have any fucking artifice. Where's my nipple clamps?
Don't you have a piece of Arcanite from the tower?
Yeah, it's not primal. I don't know what this is gonna do to him. Making him a wizard.
I don't think you should take that out.
No, this isn't the one that's in my gut. This is one
Oh,
that I'm
okay.
holding.
But that's the inert one.
Yeah.
That's one's. It's already been used, so it doesn't have a lot of. It doesn't really have any juice left in it.
Mhm.
But it is just an empty crystal, more or less.
Oh.
Could we not funnel magic into his thing, as we did before?
Rick will.
I'll tell you what. It's at 11. Let's figure that out next week.
Oh,
So, just to kind of break away here, we'll pull away from this session. Now, I just wanted to say some things before we wrap up our session. Wrap up for like definitively here. Frank has let me know for a brief time. Gonna be on